It's the first of a home-and-home series with a day off in between. The Pittsburgh Penguins and the Florida Panthers tonight here at Consol Energy Center. Hello again, everybody. With Bob Airy, I'm Paul Steigerwald. And Bobby, good to see Chris Kunitz back in the lineup.
Well, I think Sidney Crosby's going to be happy. His production's gone down, as has the Penguins' power play. They struggled without the presence of Kunitz in the lineup. He's got 5 power play goals, 9 on the season. And he missed 8 with that broken foot. He'll be a well-added addition to that top unit.
This is a great chance to see 2 of the great young defensemen in the game today. One who's already made his mark in the NHL, another who's making his debut here tonight.
Yes, Derek Pouliot, picked 8th overall in 2012. He leads all scorers in Wilkes-Barre, and he's a defenseman wearing number 51 there on your screen. Yeah, he played 5 years for Coach Mike Johnson in Portland. And this kid, first overall in last year's draft, Aaron Ekblad, 18 points, leads all rookie defensemen, Ekblad, and he's averaging about 22 minutes a game.
Let's go down on the ice. The national anthem coming up. Penguins and Panthers on Root Sports.
Massive. Staff Sergeant Massive is a 9-year veteran of the United States Army who was deployed 4 times to Iraq. His twin brother Ryan lost his life during his 2nd deployment in Iraq while proudly protecting our freedom. Please welcome Staff Sergeant Brandon Massive. Please rise, remove your hats, and direct your attention to the flag above the scoreboard. At this time, please welcome back Miss Sarah Moritz, as together with one voice, we all sing the Star-Spangled Banner.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars prove the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner
Now a good crowd here tonight for the Pittsburgh Penguins and the Florida Panthers. This should be a good game here tonight. Great matchup. A lot of interesting aspects to it because of the new players in the lineup for Pittsburgh Penguins. The injuries, and let's look at our Rivers Casino tips to win, Bob.
Well, you got Dumoulin, Pouliot, Harrington. There's Pouliot wearing number 51, the 20-year-old. Tips and screens, very important here. They worked for Como in the overtime in the last game. And that speed through the neutral zone. I love when Rust is doing it. We know Crosby and Malkin got it. You better have speed against this Florida team, and you be ready to play this game. You know Fleury's ready, Staggy, coming off the shutout.
He's just been absolutely incredible at home. 5 goals against in his last 5 home starts. And there's Louis, Roberto Luongo, back in a Florida Panthers uniform and helping them to get to a playoff spot. They are sitting in the playoff picture at the moment. And not surprised if you knew the acquisitions they made in the offseason. Pretty good acquisitions by their GM, Dale Talon. Their new coach is Gerard Gallant. Now the Panthers bring the puck to the Penguin zone, and Dave Bolland with a long shot. Steered away by Fleury to the near side. On the ice now for the Penguins, Brandon Sutter. Derek Pouliot's out here defensively right now with Rob Scuderi. Bolland with a shot and a save made by Fleury. And then he whacks Thomas Fleischmann, who came cutting through the goal mouth there after the whistle had blown. Fleury gave him a little shot with the goal stick in the back of the leg.
And you can see Florida Panthers, they wanted to stay in front of Fleury. They made a point of staying there. And wide open was Bowen. There's a little bump into Fleury, and then Jokinen gets into the face of Fleury, the ex-Penguin.
They want to frustrate the Penguins, Bob, and Jussi Jokinen said that today, so he knows from having been with Pittsburgh that that's one way to get the Penguins off their game. And Gerard Gallant, well, he was a guy who did a lot of that in his career. He had a lot of penalty minutes and a lot of points. 1,674 pins in his career. And he also had 480 points, mostly with the Detroit Red Wings. Here's Brad Boyes with it now, slipping into the corner. Alexander Barkov, bright young Finnish star who Jussi Jokinen has taken under his wing, just as he did with Ole Mata. Barkov turning to the forehand, shot it, and it was off a stick and then kicked away by Fleury to the near side. Good play there, as Sean Bergenheim got a little piece of that shot coming through. Now it's Chris Kunitz back in the lineup for the Penguins, steaming into the Panthers zone. Hit by Bergenheim, but he stays on his feet. Moves it to the corner. Aaron Ekblad tried to get it out. Kunitz cuts inside and moves back now as the Panthers move it off the boards and back to center. Dupre holds on to it. Hornquist got onside. Dupre barging in. One hands it to the goal and the save made by Roberto Luongo, 35-year-old goaltender. Ekblad, only 18 years old, moves it up the left wing to Jonathan Huberdeau. And now to Vince Trocheck, Pittsburgh native. To Bjugstad, a shot and a save made by Fleury, and the rebound got away from him. But the Penguins able to get control of it. Nick Bjugstad is the leading goal scorer with 11 goals for Florida. Vince Trocheck, who played for the Pittsburgh Hornets, making his first debut here in Pittsburgh as a member of the Florida Panthers. Score! That shot eluded the glove of Luongo. Nick Spaulding will take that. It's 1-0.
A knuckler, and the 35-year-old Luongo could not track it down. That's why you just got to shoot the puck. And Spaulding gets that pass. There's the shot. It looked like it hit the blade of the Florida Panther out high. Right there, possibly just nicking the blade of Goodbranson. And that knuckler goes right by the right shoulder. Luongo tries to play it across his body with that glove, and he was just waving that air as that puck went off the bar and in. And a great start for the Panthers.
Now we have an offside call on the Florida Panthers.
It was hard to tell if it hit the stick of Goodbranson or not, but it certainly was knuckling all the way in, dropped a couple of feet on Luongo, and for Spaulding, there's that long-range shot. Looked like Luongo just got a little piece of it as it went by, and would have been better off playing it with the other side of his body. Tried to play it with the glove, Staggy, and it was on the blocker side. That didn't help.
Well, knucklers are knucklers, right? They're just hard to pick up, and the way it's flipping and fluttering towards you, it's catching the light. It's really hard to kind of get a beat on where it's going.
Take a look one more time at it. Well, it looked like to me initially that it didn't hit Goodbranson at all. And it came off the blade of Spaulding, knuckling right off the blade. And you could see as it knuckling through the air, it's moving from the middle of his body where he thought he could get the trapper on it to his right side. And he didn't get enough of that rubber.
Now the Panthers move the puck to center. Chris Letang is there. Drops it back on defense to Brian Dumoulin. That's Scott Harrington on the ice, and now Bolin with it for Florida. Right on the goal line, and the puck centered. It comes all the way through to Willie Mitchell. Now to Kulikov, who hammers one wide on purpose. Just getting it low for Thomas Kopecky. Back out to Kulikov. This shot off a leg wide of the goal. Kopecky over to get it for the Panthers. Right back to Kulikov. Now for Bolin. He had an open side of the net, but he shanked the shot off the heel of the stick.
What a great look by Kulikov. It was right in the lane of that. Beautiful play, and oh boy, that could have been a tire.
Bouncing puck on Luongo, and he's going, what the heck's going on here? That puck's playing tricks on me, but he's able to scoop it up.
Yeah, I'm supposed to be playing hockey here and not baseball. Best save percentage coming into the game on shots 30 feet and greater. Fleury, 983, Luongo, 977 there. Well, that's going to go down after that long-range shot by Spaulding gets by the netminder and Fleury. He's been, his defense have done a great job taking away bodies in front so he can see all these long shots. We haven't seen the big rebounds. His rebound control has been exceptional this year. Credit a lot of those numbers to the defense.
Campbell moves it ahead to Jokinen, to the right wing to Fleischmann. Back for Jokinen. Jokinen and Fleischmann playing together, along with Dave Bolin. Penguins come back to center. Hornquist trying to keep it going north. And the Panthers quickly move it out. Campbell with it. One of the veteran defensemen on this Panther team. Shot by Jokinen right to the glove of Fleury. Jokinen was hit by Dupre after shooting the puck. Look at the career year that Marc-Andre Fleury is having. Compare his numbers from 2003 to 14. Win percentage 618, 792. Goals against 2.62. Now only 2.01. And look at that save percentage, 20 percentage points higher. And the shutouts, well, he's on pace to break the record held by Tom Barrasso for 7 shutouts in a season. Here's Campbell with it. Boys, back down low for Campbell. Now it's Barkov. Swings it around for Campbell. Bergenheim's in front of the net. Puck bounces to the near wall where it's picked up by Steve Downey, who picked up an assist on that Spalling goal. He and Marcel Gottsch. They're the line mates for Gottsch, Spalling, and Downey. Pretty good third line, really. And the Penguins moving Sutter back up to play it with Malkin. Malkin playing the left wing tonight. Here's Bergenheim. Cleared by Downey to center, and got Branson.
Florida had 6 guys on the ice. And we're not even close. That should have been too many men on the ice.
Scott Harrington on the ice. Paired up with Letang, who carries the puck now, moves it to the left wing. Blake Como there. Goodbranson in his face. Pushed him backwards, and Goodbranson moves the puck along. Huberdeau trying to get a hold of it. He does. Drops it off. And an attempt to pass the puck by Trocheck was blocked. Now Bukestad gets to it. Nick Bukestad with a quick shot at a save made by Fleury. That one kind of came out of nowhere. Bukestad with it again in the corner. Big rangy center iceman. And the nephew of Scott Bukestad, who played for the Penguins back in the late 80s.
You really can't see his size out here. He's a monster.
Trocheck, good skater, shoots it, and it's blocked by Scuderi. Up the wing it comes, and handled there by Como. Drops it back to Scuderi. Shuffles it along for Malkin. Malkin back for Pouliot, but he hadn't entered the zone yet. Came out over the line, and offside is called. We invite you to tweet us at Root Sports Pit using the hashtag PensBooth. And we have another good idea for you tonight. How about sending us photos of your ugly holiday sweaters? Use the hashtag PensBooth, brought to you by Point Park University.
Well, Stegi Kunitz out here again. And if we can get a look here in the next break, we can get a look at Kunitz. He's got a plastic device over his left skate boot here right now, not over his right. And I don't know if he's trying to throw anybody off, but it looks like the break was on the left foot.
Whoa, big hit down there in the corner. Dumoulin went down. He gets back up. Panthers control the puck. It's Kopechki with it, wristing it. Oh, and it's off a skate just wide of the goal. Panthers just looking to get every puck they can to the net. Another shot by Willie Mitchell. And the rebound came right to Kunitz, who moves it right wing for Crosby. He's going to give ground at center ice as Upshall's in his kitchen. Now Dumoulin ahead to Hornquist. He'll shoot it off a stick up into the netting. Penguins lead 1-0 on a fluky, fluttering shot by Nick Spalling. And Crosby having a conversation as he sits down on the bench.
Yeah, because he lost his glove and stick after slash, and there goes Kunitz into the bench. He's got that protective plastic device over the left boot. Missed 8 games with a broken foot, and great to have him back in the lineup. The power play suffered. The top line production has gone down. 5 power play goals out of the 9 for Kunitz this season. And that power play is just 2 for 29 in the last 10.
Shot wide of the goal by Pouliot, just pulling the trigger and getting it down low. Scuderi over, dumped it back into the corner. Now up the wing comes Jokic. He tried to drop it back. It gets caught up in traffic here, and it's dumped in by the Penguins' Andrew Ebbett. Ebbett, Farnham, and Rust. And Farnham in on the forecheck against Ekblad. Ekblad turned it over to Rust, who handed it off to Farnham, and now out to Scuderi. Back in deep for Brian Rust. Penguins' 4th line was good the other night with Adams centering. Tonight it's Andrew Ebbett. Adams is out of the lineup. His streak comes to an end. Here's Rust shooting off his stick. Over to get it goes Andrew Ebbett. Back behind the net for Farnham.
A lot of passion here in this line. All over the place, moving their feet. Great work started with Bobby Farnham. Now with Rust.
Rust with a backhander, floating it in there, and a blocker save made again by Luongo. And a changeup by Brian Rust from 55 feet away. Now Bolin working deep in his own zone. Penguins get their 3rd line on. Downey got the puck first. Back to Scuderi, a shot. Comes right to the stick of Spalling. Ekblad has him covered. Spalling sends it behind the net to Downey. Steve Downey steps out of the corner. Centers down. Pouliot with a shot. He scores!
about this. Pouliot joined the ranks. Amir Lemieux scored his first game on his first shot. Not on his first shift. But Pouliot is so aggressive and active. That offensive defenseman, 5 in his last 7 in Wilkes-Barre. Derek Pouliot, 8th overall, rips it over that glove hand of Luongo, who just can't find him. The width of that pass, down below the circle, and for Derek Pouliot, a goal scorer from the blue line, knows exactly where to put it in that top shelf. That is tremendous stuff, and he comes as advertised.
And a tremendous shift. The Penguins' fourth line created the momentum and the puck possession in the offensive zone. The Penguins were able to jump their third line on with the Florida Panthers reeling, and Steve Downey made a beautiful play out of the corner to get it over to Pouliot, and he put it in the net. So just sustained pressure by the Penguins pays off with the goal by Pouliot. Now we have a high sticking call here coming up.
Harrington didn't like it. He said, me? Well, that young defenseman Harrington's going to the box. The young defenseman Pouliot, he's on the board. Well, the young defenseman Scott Harrington, his first penalty minutes in the National Hockey League after the Penguins get a goal from Pouliot. That inadvertent high stick right there, catching right under the chin there, Barkov, Alexander Barkov, and Harrington goes to the box.
So the Florida Panthers, Bobby.
That's pretty exciting stuff. Can you believe that? Shoulder surgery at the end of last year. Starts in Wilkes-Barre, 5 years in Portland Winterhawks. 70 points last year for Pouliot in 58 games, and a tremendous playoff. We had over 30 points, and he's now an NHLer.
Florida Panthers on the power play. Here's Campbell with it. He shoots it off the goalpost. Harrington in the box for high sticking. The Panthers ranked 25th with the man advantage. They want to get it going. They score too. Well, they did get it going. It was deflected in front of the net. Jonathan Huberdeau right there.
Trocheck,
and Trocheck, I think, is going to get the goal.
Yep.
Vince Trocheck deflected it in. And he comes. Pouliot gets one in his debut, and Trocheck gets one in his return to Pittsburgh.
Yeah, take a look. 21, stick on the ice. Right after a goal post, there's a hard shot, a redirection. Trocheck from Huberdeau just catches the bottom of the blocker over the right pad of Fleury as he's looking through traffic, and he doesn't get enough of the puck. And that power play does strike on the Harrington penalty. And yep, the Pittsburgh native Vincent Trocheck makes it 2-1.
They had not scored a power play goal in their last 6 games. They were 0 for their last 14. They get one there to get right back into this hockey game. Vince Trocheck back in the lineup. He was not dressed the last 2 games. Crosby is knocked down by Kulikov. Tries to get back up. Should have trouble getting back up to his skates. Kulikov moves it along, or Bukestad will carry it back now. Moves it towards the right wing and pass too hard. And then to get it, Penguins, they touch up, or don't even have to touch it. It's an icing call. Trocheck was the man who could not take that right wing pass. It was too hard.
Yeah. Pittsburgh kid gets his 3rd of the season. And you know, this team has 12 first-round picks on it, this Florida Panther team. It's a tough lineup to crack right now. They're getting a lot of confidence behind their 35-year-old netminder Luongo, and kind of coming into their own right now. Campbell's on the blue line there with the young Ekblad and kind of tutoring him there. Jokinen comes in. He's helping the whole veteran rookie dynamic. So Florida's really coming into their own.
We'd like to welcome Kuhn Communications viewers in the Walnut Bottom area of Pennsylvania. Thanks for watching and rooting on the Pens. All of us at Root Sports and the Penguins appreciate your support. Walnut Bottom, PA. From the draw, Letang with it. Banks it hard off the boards. It's so hard it goes out of play over there on the far side.
Marc-Andre Fleury, Staggy, 7-1 in his last 8 against Florida. Is the flower coming off that shutout, his 6th of the season. He's only given up 9 goals in those games, and Florida really handed it to the Penguins last year. I believe it was a 5-1 trouncing. So they have a shot this year, the Florida Panthers. They're right there in the picture. 36 points in the Atlantic Division.
Malkin dumps it into the Florida zone. And a penalty coming up.
Yeah, there might be two here. The referee pointed at two players. I don't know if they're going to. Did Malkin?
Whoa! Malkin just held off and threw a right hand at Willie Mitchell. They come after him for that.
Yeah. I think the penalties are even to start, and we'll see how they're going to end up. And Willie Mitchell, he'll step out. He'll challenge Malkin, and I don't know if Malkin got a dive originally or not. I couldn't tell. I thought he was tripped up, and I was wondering why the penalties were offset originally. Let's take a look here. Malkin, that edge work, and he may have called Malkin on a dive for going down gingerly. We'll see.
19, 2 minutes for trip. We got 71 pit. Unsportsmanlike conduct.
Yep, unsportsmanlike conduct for Evgeny Malkin. The trip on Upshaw. That's exactly what it was, Steggy.
So that'll even things up for the moment. It is a 4-on-4 situation. And Malkin not happy with the call, but Kunitz comes to center ice now. Dragged ahead by Crosby. Looks for Kunitz. Knocked off his stick by Fleischman. Backs it, but not out. Held in. Harrington closing in. Harrington sends it around for Crosby. Sidney Crosby trying to maintain possession. Up the wall for Kunitz. Harrington paired up with Letang. And the Panthers able to get to center ice. It's Fleischman with it. He's got Boland alongside. They crisscross. Fleischman shot it off the side of the cage. Letang reached out and poked it up the wall, where it's taken now by Kunitz. Long pass to Sidney Crosby cutting into the middle. Sid looks back. Crosby takes the shot. Dupre with a drive up the side of the cage. And Dupre with it again. And a shot by Hornquist. Luongo saw that all the way. Rebound grab now by Campbell.
I love Crosby curling up on that 4-on-4 there, and then looking for the defenseman late. Dupre got a good opportunity right from the same spot Pouliot scored.
Dumoulin paired up with Dupre. Under pressure from Barkov, but he's able to get the puck to Hornquist instead. Brad Boys makes him turn back. Dumoulin to Dupre. Off the boards and into the Florida zone. Luongo couldn't stop it. Spaulding gets it. Works it to Hornquist. Now DeBranson takes it away, but Hornquist poked it from him to the corner. Now Branson takes the pass from Dylan Olsen, and Spaulding applying some pressure. He moves it ahead to Boys. Brad Boys will drag the puck to center ice. Dumps it behind the defense, but Gotch right there to take it over to Scuderi. Back for Gotch. Right to Derek Pouliot, and he'll lug the puck now for the penalty. Here comes Pouliot. He'll bank it off the boards to the corner. Downey there, right back to Pouliot. Nice pass over to Scuderi. Scuderi with a shot and a save made with a blocker of Luongo. Onto the ice come Malkin and Upshaw. The team's at full strength now. Upshaw carries into the Penguin zone. Looks back. Finds his man, Bergenheim, who lost the puck for a moment. He centers it into the feet of Penguin defenseman Scuderi. Now Malkin accidentally shuffles it back to his goaltender Fleury, and he'll freeze it.
A lot of talent on the ice. First rounders on both sides. Brian, you're no stranger to that shot board. 6 in the last, and you almost found a floater there, just trying to get the biscuit to the net.
Yeah, that's just part of my game, especially being on the fourth line. I just try to work things down low and get as many pucks to the net as possible.
You didn't play the fourth line down in the minors in Wilkes-Barre, but you guys had a ton of energy on that shift that led to the Penguins' second goal.
Yeah, that's kind of something that we're definitely working on, is getting a lot of energy, trying to get the team going with some big shifts and some big hits.
Thanks very much.
Yeah, thank you.
You like this guy, Staggy, and he's been great. He's been great so far, has Brian Rust in his 3 games.
I always text Jonathan Bomboli down in Wilkes-Barre when players come up. He covers that team on a regular basis, an offside call. The writer down there, and a very good hockey guy. I mean, he really has followed them for so many years. He has a feel for which players are going to, make it to the NHL and stuff. And I asked him about players about midway through October. It was the 3rd week of November, and he said Brian Rust was the best player down there, is the way he put it, and that was before Pouliot really started to catch fire. He hasn't disappointed anyone, has he, Brian Rust? And Derek Pouliot already satisfying us with a goal, and now Dumoulin, Pouliot, and Rush have all scored their first NHL goals. Turning shot by Huberdeau is stopped by Fleury. Dumoulin backs it away now to Malkin. Ahead to Como. Left wing to Malkin. Back across now for Sutter. Trying to settle it down. Checked by Willie Mitchell. He sent it behind the net, and Kulikov has it there. One of those first-round picks that Bobby mentioned earlier.
1-12. Kulikov's got great skating ability and gets better every time we see him. I tell you, when your players get better around you, everybody looks better. You start winning some hockey games, get that confidence. And as Gordy Roberts, the ex-Penguin, used to say, confidence. You got to have it.
There's Andrew Evan dumping it in. Rust makes a beeline for the puck around Campbell. Chipped it to the corner for Bobby Farnham, who just came barging in there to keep it in deep. Now Rust behind the net. Campbell just whacked him with a stick. And Ekblad takes it down for the Panthers. Somehow got the puck around. Big collision. Ekblad got crushed by Bobby Farnham. And now another chance for Ekblad to try to clear it. And now they run over Bobby Farnham as Campbell got in there to return the favor.
Well, Ekblad's checking his face right now. His chin strap around his chin and not under it. And he's cut on the bridge of his nose. And Bobby Farnham is just going to keep running and running. And
2 minutes interference.
his head actually hit the chin of Ekblad. You can see as Farnham came in to make contact, his helmet is what hits Ekblad right in the facial area. And Bobby Farnham's just going to keep coming and coming, and there you see the penalty that Campbell took on him.
So the Penguins have a UPMC Sports Medicine power play. And a chance to add to their lead. 2-1 Pittsburgh. Here's Crosby with it now. Bobby Farnham, you got to keep your head up when he's on the ice.
Yeah, no Scott Thornton in the lineup here for Florida tonight, and I don't know who's going to reply to Farnham.
Here's Malkin with a blast, and a save by Luongo. The loose puck. Kopechki able to clear it past Malkin back into the Penguin zone.
Malkin's upset that he didn't knock that puck down out of the air on his backhand. You can see it in his face, and a little lip service to himself. Wanted to knock it. Look out.
Kunitz to the goal, off the goalpost, rebound Malkin. Stop, don't know what that hit. Here's Lundqvist with it, and the whistle blows.
Double post,
Double
Aggie.
post.
Double post. Kunitz post, Malkin post, the same post.
Christmas bells behind Roberto Luongo.
Incredible stuff. Looked like Malkin had the wide open cage, just could not find the net. There was a stick in the way. Looked like Mitchell, as Malkin went to try to hit the rebound off the post. There's the initial one. It's going to bounce over the stick. There's the first one to the blocker side of Luongo, and the puck comes out, and you'll see the second opportunity. Mitchell may have just got a piece of it, preventing that puck from going in behind Luongo. Had no clue. And when it came back the third time, Staggy, after the whistle, the puck hit the same post again. You see that? There's a magnet there. And I'm not exactly sure why the officials are convening right now.
I think they might be, I don't think they're reviewing this, are they?
Well, didn't go in. It hit the goalpost a couple of times, but did we hear a whistle after that second post? Did they blow it dead thinking that possibly it went in, Staggy? Because the puck still looked like it was free, and then there was a whistle. It wasn't frozen, was it? So it is under review. Let's take a look here, guys, one more time. So we get the Kunitz goalpost, clearly. The second one by Malkin. And then the puck wasn't frozen dead or anything, but the referees did blow it dead right now. So apparently somebody thought it may have gone in, because I don't believe there was any other reason for that whistle. You can see Hornqvist saying, "Why did you blow the whistle?" And that really prevented the Penguins from getting another crack, as Luongo was floundering and had no idea where that puck was. Listen up, we'll get an explanation here.
After video review, the second shot hit the goalpost, no goal.
So apparently they had thought that the second opportunity had possibly gone in and blown it dead, and right then and there. Oh, we get some more horns in the penalty box right now. As we may have another delay and an explanation right now to Rick Tocchet from the official Steve Kazari.
Puck back into the Penguin zone. Going back forward is Chris Letang. Looks over his shoulder. Jussi Jokinen bearing down on him. He's able to get the puck to Crosby. And ahead now to Hornquist. Back for Sid. Off his skate. Hornquist left it for Letang. And Letang winds it around to the far side. Gudbranson trying to get it out. But off the skate of Kunitz. Hornquist trying to move it to the point, but the Panthers have it. Jokinen takes the pass. Takes the shot. Trying to get around Letang. And Crosby right there to take the puck. Right in front of his own goal goes Kunitz. Penguins with 50 seconds to work with on this power play. Here's Hornquist with it. Hornquist in after it now, along with Kunitz. Sutter comes on the ice. Malkin is out here playing the left point at the moment. But Kopecky comes back shorthanded for the Panthers and dumps it to the corner. Panthers trying to kill this penalty here and maintain this 1-goal difference. 26 seconds remaining on the Pittsburgh Penguins power play, and Letang with it. Well, he thought he was leaving it for Dupre. He does, and goes to the bench. Penguins' second power play unit is on.
Crosby left the ice after getting slashed by Bolin in the hand.
And he was upset. He knocked his glove and stick right out of his hand.
That was early in the first shift as well that Upshaw did that.
Pouliot's got the puck. The power play's over. Pouliot turned it over. This is Fleischmann shooting, and it's off the stick of Dupre and out of play.
Well, it's got physical here. Farnham got it going, and Chippy with Bolin and Upshaw. There's the slash by Bolin on the hands of Crosby, right on that left hand. Well, early in the hockey game, Sidney Crosby, that left hand that just got slashed by Bolin, he had the stick and the glove knocked out of that left hand, and then the left hand again whacked by Bolin as he went by. And he's feeling a little pain. He went down the runway. We'll see if he can get back into things. As we know, there's not much padding in that palm.
Brad Boyes after the puck to the corner. Ekblad likes that little step, Bob, where he goes left and then right quickly to get pucks to the net. It's a good footwork back there at the blue line. He goes back to the puck in his own zone. Bobby Farnham trying to line him up again.
Yeah, that's 3 times, Nagy. He better get going. He's 18, but he's pretty smart, so he should realize when Farnham's out there, if he doesn't know now, he'll never figure it out. Look out.
Campbell to Bergenheim. He shoots it. Fleury the save. The rebound chopped wide, and Bergenheim has it behind the net. Moves it out. Ekblad. His shot went off the heel of his stick. It pinballs around it. Scuderi tried to clear it. It comes back to Scuderi in the corner. Barkov there. Little shuffle pass through the legs, but it came right to Spalling. He couldn't get it out. Ekblad headed in. Now it's Barkov with it, shooting it, and Fleury makes the easy save and draws the whistle. PNC Sports Medicine injury update. Look at that list. And look at the number of man games lost. 100 so far this year. 62 of them in December. And it rains and pours. And Mike Johnston now playing without the services of Sidney Crosby. Quick shot right there by Trocheck was stopped, and now up the wing it comes, and it's going to be sent back out to center by the Penguins all the way down to the Florida zone. Dylan Olsen back to get it. Kunitz on him, gives him a good jolt right there in the corner, and a good wraparound attempt by Hornquist to stop by Luongo. Big save there. Hornquist quickly got them around the net there and almost tucked that in. No icing on the play. Letang goes back. Huberdeau with it now, trying to center for Bukestad, and Harrington steps in the way of that, moves it ahead now to Malkin. Malkin looks right wing to Letang. Letang wanted to give it to Como. Now he still has it. He's hit by Willie Mitchell. Malkin with it now. Up top for Sutter. Dupre dumps it behind the net. And a penalty coming up here. A holding call.
Blake Como's going to go to the box for a hold, and you can see Trocheck trying to get in the face of Letang. Getting Chippy out here, and Crosby not on the bench. As we look at this graphic, Staggy, first game, first shot, first goal. Derek Pouliot did it. Last player to do so. There you see Andrighetto, and he did it. He just got called up again for the Montreal Canadiens. Just did it against Dallas in December. He was sent down to Hamilton, called back up yesterday. See the last Penguin to do it, and Derek Pouliot in good company. Of course, we know Mario Lemieux did it in Boston.
Como off for holding at 16:09. Panthers are 1-for-1 with a man advantage. Campbell with it, a dangerous player back there on the blue line. He wristed one to the net, the save made. Dupre couldn't get it out. Barkov chopping at it. Good area there as well. Now Dupre, a chance to kill penalties here tonight. You know, Paul Martin and Ehrhoff out of the lineup. Dupre doesn't usually spend a lot of time on that penalty killing unit. And he's going to get his share of work here tonight for sure. Scuderi back to the corner. And Dupre partners at even strength usually, of course. And the Panthers moving around now with a man advantage, and out to Campbell. Had to receive the pass, couldn't shoot it right away. Swings in behind the net. Scuderi just reached out, knocked it off his stick, but it's still loose at the side of the goal. Fleury finally, after a couple of whacks there in his vicinity, he's able to freeze the puck. Coming up in the first intermission, presented by your neighborhood Ford store with Rob and Jay, Derek Pouliot will visit with Dan Potash. So he gets his first goal and his first interview with Dan Potash all on the same night.
That's a big night. Not many get that chance. First game, first goal, first shot, first interview.
Panthers control. They're on the power play. Got Branson with a shot. He missed the net. Partially blocked. Huberdeau with it now. Bukestad's in the slot. Goodbranson moving in the back door. Vince Trocheck. Back out to Goodbranson. Trocheck flips it over. Went off a skate. Letang able to control it to the backhand and then clear it. 52 seconds remaining on the Como penalty. Dmitry Kulikov. Dumps it hard around. Dupre. Didn't get a lot on it to get it out. Goodbranson able to keep it in for Huberdeau. In the slot, Bukestad for Trocheck. Fleury kicks it away from his stick, and then Trocheck got leveled in there by Dupre, and he's able to clear the puck. Didn't get it out. Goodbranson holding it in with a good move with a glove. Dupre playing on that right side, a left shot, having a tough time getting enough mustard on that puck to get it out.
Get enough mustard on Trocheck, though, after Trocheck trying to score his second of the game and a second power play chance indeed.
Yeah, Ray just draped him on the boards. Now here's Bergenheim with it. Kunis pressuring him. Bergenheim protecting the puck. Penalty's over. Como comes on. Fleischmann dancing through center ice into the Penguin zone. Fires, just missed the net. Sid's back on the bench.
The ice.
Back on the ice. Yep. He's back on the that's good. A little concerned, but he's back in there. Here's Letang moving it out to center, and Kunis had a piece of it. Como still on the ice here after coming out of the penalty box. Fleischmann centers all the way through, taken by Kunis. Crosby takes off, wants the puck, trying to take it around Mitchell. He's got it. Crosby to the goal. Stopped by Luongo. And no goal. I think the puck might be in the net, but they're waving that off because the Penguins went hard to the net. But a tremendous effort by Crosby. If he'd have scored there, he would have brought the house down.
Yeah, there's going to be at least one penalty, and now we see, I believe, Letang mixing it up here. Punches being thrown against Letang right now. Mitchell hit him with his helmet. Referee wasn't even looking at it. Mitchell grabbed the helmet and hit Letang with the helmet. And that could be a fine or suspension if the NHL looks at that. The referee had his back turned to that situation. Mitchell grabbed that helmet and banged it off the side of Letang's head. Mitchell was going after Malkin earlier, and these Florida Panthers, after their young guy Ekblad was battered by Farnham, they have really stepped it up in the chippy department here, and are manning up against the Penguins unit. There was initial penalty called there as the Penguins went to the net. I believe it may have been against Hornquist, not exactly sure. Sidney Crosby made one heck of a play in that neutral zone and really being able to get that puck by Mitchell. As we sort things out, take a look at this puck. It comes up and he lifts a stick of Mitchell there because he couldn't get to the puck. He stayed with it. Look at the backward, forward, going to there. And then Letang jams it There's a hard hit on Hornquist who should not have been penalized. I believe maybe the hit against Hornquist was penalized as Letang jammed at that puck trying to get it over the goal line. And we'll just see how this all shakes up.
It was Dylan Olsen who flattened Hornquist.
And I don't know if we have a look at what happened to Chris Letang, but there was a bunch of punches right there. There's Letang. Let's see how this finishes up. Letang's going to lose his helmet here, guys. And if we stick with it, watch Mitchell. Watch what he does. After he throws a couple of punches, grabs the helmet, and then bang! Tries to hit Letang. I don't know if he got Letang. Maybe more of the linesman's arm. If you look at it right there, and the referee looking at the other pile.
And Steve Downey is talking it up right now on the bench, yelling at the Panthers from across the way.
Yeah, and they got it on the big board right now. They're loving it. Let's take one more look at the opportunity. Mitchell, there's a pile up right in front of the net. You see the referee pointing from that hit, Staggy, I think on Olsen. Looks like Olsen, the initial one. And then you see Mitchell here. Mitchell's throwing punches even though Letang is tied up by the official. There's two punches, then he grabs the helmet. I think he may have clipped Letang, more the arm of the linesman. As you can see that helmet, Andy McElman taking more of the brunt of that hit. Sidney Crosby stripping Mitchell in that neutral zone, lifting his stick and then taking the puck to the net after crossing over backwards. He keeps that puck alive and his speed, turns it to the backhand. The Penguins jam, playing to the whistle, and then everybody got flattened.
He almost tucks this in between the pads of Luongo, goes 5-hole, but
sticks right under that left pad, yeah. Why not play to the whistle? But this has turned into a chippy game here in the first period of play. Florida, a different hockey team. They don't roll over, and Downey's not happy.
And the Panthers have 20 shots in this game so far in the first period. The Penguins with 11.
Yeah, their power play's been very effective. Their lone goal scored on the power play by Trocheck. They've got numerous opportunities. And of course, the Penguins are playing with a real young defense. You mentioned it, Ehrhoff, Martin out of the lineup tonight. Pouliot in his first NHL game. You got Harrington in his second.
Look at Downey. He's in the jungle right now, sitting on the boards. And 6 of those 20 shots by the Panthers came via the power play, Bob.
6 of the 20, okay. Yeah, they're really trying to get the puck to the net. Gerard Gallant, you mentioned it right off the get-go. He was a tough, hard-nosed hockey player. Could score, but also took a lot of penalty minutes. And I tell you, he was always in somebody's face. And you know that translates to his hockey team right now. They're not going to let this young hockey team, comprised of 12 first-round picks, he's not going to, they're not going to roll over and be abused. And Bobby Farnham really started it, I thought, in this hockey game with that big hit against the 18-year-old Aaron Ekblad. And I think that just kind of
ignited the whole thing.
It did ignite the whole thing. And Florida said, hey, we're not going to take that. Let's take a look at that Farnham hit if we can. And this happened like the second opportunity Farnham had. Just a big hit on Ekblad. Ekblad, the 18-year-old, first overall pick in this year's draft, went down, and yep, fireworks started after that.
Team's at full strength as the puck comes back towards the Penguin zone with 1:06 to go in the first period. Through all this, the Penguins with a 2-1 lead over the Panthers. Malkin tips it along for Crosby, who dished it into the middle but turned it over, and a shot by Upshall misses the net. Back to the corner where Pouliot controls it. And Pouliot looks up, finds his partner. I think Scuderi yelled for that. He was open in front of the net. Pouliot found it. Out of the right wing, and Como off his stick. Kulikov fell down. Malkin follows on. Malkin behind the net in front. Como is shot of a save by Luongo. And another penalty coming up.
Well, who's that got a high stick? Is that Crosby that's down in front of the net? I think Crosby was out there. He got high stick right in front of the Florida net. You can see his wrists are taped up right now after getting slashed in the hands. And now we see Sidney Crosby go down in front of the net.
Well, I could just tell by what Jussi Jokinen said today when they were asking him about playing the Penguins. He said, we got to frustrate Crosby and Malkin, and they are really coming after those guys. And he's got Branson just lifting the stick of Sid.
Did
he ever come up hard there?
Florida Panthers.
And then you see the Florida Panthers come in there, and Kulikov gets his foot right into the stick. So Goodbranson shaking his head right now. On the 4-minute call is blood coming out of the nose of Sidney Crosby. Goodbranson comes from the backside and comes up real high, and now he's talking to Downey. Downey went over, and Goodbranson, what you saw was, yeah, me and you, we're going to go. And Downey, this is his
be
game.
happy to do that.
Yeah.
Kunitz, double minor for roughing. Bolin 2 for roughing. Olsen 2 for roughing. And now Goodbranson 4 minutes. Malkin shoots it in the save made. Rebound. Another save made by Luongo. And Malkin in there battling for the loose puck, creating more havoc. Jokinen throws a punch.
Yeah, this is where you just go in if you're outnumbered. If one of your players is getting abused in front, if you're a Penguin defense, you just go down and take your chances there. But the Penguins, Malkin and Crosby get out of that one. They're playing to the whistle, and Malkin, he's going to go to the box.
Yeah, he kind of threw a shot in there after he got that second chance opportunity here.
There's the one, skate to stick. There's the second, and there's the high stick on Malkin. He got a couple of cracks, as you could see on Ekblad, the 18-year-old. So you can sometimes get away with 1, not 2 and 3. And the referee making that call, especially when you're on the power play. Downey going by the bench, and he's still yapping.
Pittsburgh number 71, Buffy.
That's what Luongo does to Downey's stick as Downey goes to pick it up. We used to do that with dollar bills attached to a string in the airport, Staggy, but
I remember that trick.
but that one wasn't as funny. It was funny in the airport.
Yes, it was. That's from the days when players used to have to sit in the airport for long stretches at times.
Commercial flights.
Yeah.
Put Mario in the middle. I always like to see Mario in the middle seat.
Bob, this is a pretty wild affair here. I mean, this game just all started with Bobby Farnham.
He really did.
And it's just escalated from there. It'll be interesting to see if these players calm down as they go to the second period, maybe a little time to cool off in the intermission, or if it'll just keep escalating.
Well, it's interesting. You mentioned the shots. 21-15 the shots, and these two teams are going to play in a couple of days in Florida. So, yeah, we had a lot of hatred built up already, and we'll see how long it does carry over. But this is where you got to control your emotions. You don't want to get caught in that penalty box and realize the ultimate goal is to win the hockey game.
Sutter against McKenzie, and from the draw, Campbell trying to get a hold of the puck. 20 seconds remaining now. This is Fleischmann, who has put up very impressive numbers in his career against the Penguins. 20 points in 23 games, including 10 goals. Number 14, keep your eye on him tonight. Former Washington Capital. 2 seconds to go in the period. Fleischmann with the puck, and there's the horn, ending a very interesting, combative first period of hockey here at Consol Energy Center. 21 shots for Florida and 15 for the Penguins. That might be the most shots we've seen in one period this year.
Well, Steggy, I knew what it was like to score my first National Hockey League goal, and for Pouliot as he goes into the dressing room, oh boy, he's got to be feeling pretty good right now. Let's see what he's got in the last 60 minutes or 40 minutes, excuse me.
We'll be talking to Dan Potash. Let's go to Robin J.
Staggy, Bob, thanks very much. A rather unusual first period of play. Lots of shots, lots of action, lots of feistiness, just lots of stuff.
Yeah, you know, long period, drug out, a lot of stuff going on. You know, Florida doesn't have Thornton in the lineup. They're trying to play a tough team game, and stuff's just going to get out of hand if the refs let it. They got to settle it down. As far as Florida, Luongo can't give up the kind of goal he gave up first shot. But from there, Pittsburgh, Pouliot with a great feeling, a great play by Downey to find him. Great shot.
Yep, and you're going to hear from Derek Pouliot. Dan Potash will catch up with him. Jay's going to tell us straight plenty of analysis, highlights from around the league, and much more coming up next on the First Intermission Report, brought to you by your neighborhood Ford store. Vincent Trocheck scores in his return to his hometown of Pittsburgh. Derek Pouliot gets the first goal of his career, but heading into the second period, the talk has to be about all the rough stuff. 20 minutes of play, 38 minutes of penalties. Let's rejoin Staggy and Bob for the call of the second period, guys.
Thanks, Rob. Peace on earth, goodwill to men, Bob, in that first period.
That was feisty. It was chippy. There was a lot of stick infractions, if you will, some caught and some not caught. As we look at the physical play, Fleury, he got whacked. Upshaw and Malkin go at it. And then Farnham, fireworks began. There was a slash. And Letang got hit with a helmet. And then a high high stick by Goodbranson. A 4-minute Johnson on Sidney Crosby. And the referee first talked to the Penguins bench. Now he's over talking to Gerard Gallant. Both coaches looking for the next call, and a lot of conversation between two benches. Downey's been very vocal, and Derek Pouliot, he's been talking with his skill, his ability, his stick, and scored in the first period of play, as well as Vincent Trocheck. And for Trocheck, the Pittsburgh native, he played 5 minutes in that period, 4 shots and 3 hits to lead Florida in both those categories. So a great period for Trocheck.
A total of 36 shots in the period and 38 minutes in penalties. And right now, we have 1:34 remaining on the Malkin penalty. And then the Penguins will return to the power play because Goodbranson got a 4-minute penalty for high-sticking Sidney Crosby. And now it's Campbell with it, coming to center ice. 4-on-4 hockey. You would figure Campbell would be a dangerous player, and Ekblad too, for that matter. He's put up 18 points this year. Offside is Ekblad. And I'm going to be impressed with what he's done. 5 goals, 18 points.
Yeah, plays about 22 minutes a game. He's playing alongside Campbell. Brian Campbell, the veteran, most part of this season. And those two, Campbell, certainly a gifted skater and passer.
Penguins will start down the 4-on-4 from their own zone. It's Como with Sutter, Pouliot, and Scuderi. Como dumps it in. Gets in after. Panthers quickly counter. Campbell leading the charge. Dishes it off to the left side of Bukestad. He couldn't do anything with it, and the Penguins go the other way. Sutter had it taken away by Campbell. Now they give it away to Pouliot. He'll bounce it towards the goal, and Luongo just steers it over to the far boards.
You better be careful. He's already let one long range go in. And
this is Barkov with it, smoothly skating down that wing. He's a big and rangy centerman. Puck dumped in behind the net, taken there by Fleischmann. Centered it off the paddle of Fleury. Picked up now by Brian Rust. Rust cuts to his left. Fakes. Steps in, right to the goal. And it's swept away to the near side, where Rust likes to go right to the net.
yeah, that's what Andrew Evans said when we asked about him. Even before he was called up, he said, yeah, likes to drive to that net. He's a little banged up, but he loves to take it from everywhere right to the cage.
He was described to me as a guy with a motor, a big motor. And you can see him motoring there down the wing.
We saw last game as everybody's going to be set free from the penalty boxes. Wow, 5 Panthers over there, let them out of their cage. And there go the Penguins.
It's like a jailbreak, literally.
Thank you very much. With 1:43 left, the Penguin power play. Yeah, Rust has shown the ability to really carry that puck, Stag. I've been impressed by him, really taking advantage of his opportunity, and that's all you can ask for. Let the chips fall where they may after that, but they will certainly remember what Brian Rust has done in his first 4 games in the National Hockey League here for Pittsburgh.
Dupre on the power play here, ahead to Sidney Crosby. Penguins with a man advantage. Minute 30 left on the penalty to Goodbranson. Penguins up 2-1. Here's Hornquist with it. Crosby, Hornquist, shot. Good save by Luongo with a right pad. Hornquist out to Malkin. Now Hornquist will set it up on the near wall. Down low, Kunitz, Crosby, Simon Dupre. Back to Sid. Quick pass to Malkin. Malkin closing in. Shoots it off the goalpost. Crosby with a blast. And that one blocked. Kopechki got in front of it and then tried to clear it. Couldn't get it out. Dupre held it in. Crosby spins away from Kopechki. Sid to the slot. Shooting and saved by Luongo. Dupre over to keep the puck in. Nice move off the wall. Dupre to Sid, and he centered it. Boy, Simon could have shot that puck himself after making a pretty play off the boards there. Here's Crosby to Kunitz, to Crosby, the shot, sharp angle, and Luongo makes the save. Another keep in by Dupre to Malkin. Malkin into the slot, bouncing puck. Simon not shooting it. Moves it over to Crosby. Sidney Crosby. 30 seconds to go on this Penguin power play. Dupre fakes the shot to Malkin. Be careful here, Malkin trying to keep it in. Dupre will cover up for him as the issue is forced there by Derek McKenzie against Malkin. Now Dupre to Malkin. Dupre goes to the bench. Malkin leaves it for Kunitz, to Gino. In front. Crosby's shot. hung up in traffic. Luongo's lost his goal mask. And now he takes a shot at Hornquist.
There's already a penalty being called against Hornquist. Luongo got pushed into the cage in the first period, as you can remember, by Letang and Hornquist. And here Hornquist is going to take a penalty as he went to the net and Luongo's lid was dislodged. So Hornquist is pointing up saying, hey, I got pushed in there. There's the sequence as you look at the pass going out in front. And you saw Kulikov kind of knock Hornquist into Luongo, and Luongo giving Hornquist the stinky glove. Take a look at Hornquist on this power play. The stick save by Luongo, standing tall here in the second period. And then this one here, as Malkin shoots, the spreading of the legs by Hornquist so that the puck gets through to Luongo. So Hornquist was all over the crease and right into the head of Luongo.
8 seconds left on the Gudbranson penalty, 4-on-4. And then Hornquist in the box. The Panthers will be back with a man advantage. Here comes Dumoulin. Dumoulin feeding it through for Gotch. Gotch went sliding into the end boards as Luongo freezes the puck. Gotch, the former Florida Panther, had 69 points in 161 games with that club. He's got the 1 goal and
Picked up an assist tonight, Staggy.
he did. That's nice to see. 5 points in 42 games now with Pittsburgh for Marcel Gott. Getting more of an opportunity to be involved in the offense, playing on a third line for Pittsburgh now, with Sutter and Malkin playing together on that second line.
Well, Luongo, back in his first stint, he would regularly see about 50 shots a game. They've kept the shots down a little bit this year, this Florida team, but this one here, I don't know what it's going to end up. It could end up 50 apiece.
Penguins playing without Paul Martin and Christian Ehrhoff. Of course, Robert Bortuzzo out as well. Here's Jussi Jokinen with it. This is Ekblad. It is amazing that he's only 18 years old. He does look like he's mature way beyond his years. Here he is with the puck at the point. And he falls down but keeps it in for Jokinen. Campbell with a shot. Spaulding, sprawling to block it. Sutter trying to take it away from Ekblad. Spaulding gets it at center and pushes it up into the corner. Power play for the Florida Panthers. They have a power play goal tonight by Vince Trocheck, the native of Pittsburgh. Back to get it, Harrington. He's hit by Boys, but he was able to clear the puck to center. This is Nick Bjugstad with it. Trocheck. Bjugstad centers. Trocheck controls for Bjugstad. Huberdeau's in the high slot. Bjugstad with it. Trying to get himself free. Finds Kulikov. He closes in. Look for a redirect there from Huberdeau that didn't connect. Bjugstad to Gudbranson. 21 seconds to go on the penalty and a save by Fleury on Bjugstad. Penguins want to get the puck, but they can't get it out. The Panthers hold it in. One guy who's missing in action here tonight also is Craig Adams. Of course, he has been a key member of the Penguins penalty killing unit. The Automotive brings you a great day for hockey. December 20th, 2000. Pens and Panthers.
Yeah, Panthers were held without a shot in the third period of that one. We had 21 in the first period of this one here tonight. So it's back in 2000. 11 seconds left on a Florida power play.
Quick shot by Bergenheim and the save by Fleury, and he's able to control that rebound. No Panthers around to take advantage of that. And a face-off coming up to the right of the Pittsburgh goal with 2 seconds left on the Hornquist penalty.
Now this isn't the best face-off. Crosby out there killing the penalty. There's Bergenheim and the save by Marc-Andre Fleury, and he was able to corral. Look at that, flipping pancakes straight into the glove.
They control the face-off again. Kulikov's shot was redirected. A little tip there, and Fleury made a good save there. They almost scored. I think that would have been after the power play had expired. Here's Crosby to the goal. Great save. And the rebound was blocked as Hornquist went to the loose puck. Luongo with a big save on Sid there.
How about Sid out of the air at the blue line to keep that puck alive and get that opportunity. Saw earlier the great play on Mitchell. That one there, Crosby working his magic in that neutral zone.
Here comes Kunitz. He feeds it to the corner for Hornquist. Back around for Crosby. He centers one all the way to the point. Great pass to Scuderi. Down low for Sid. He try to move it in front. Back out to where Letang will try to keep it in, and he does for Crosby. Sidney Crosby. Two Panthers converge on him, but he's able to find Hornquist, who's wide open as a result. Down low for Kunitz. Back to Hornquist going to the net. Good defensive play there, though. It was broken up by Derek McKenzie. And now back into his own zone goes Scuderi. Letang, lead pass, eludes Crosby. Branson headmans the puck, 3-on-2 for the Panthers, and a shot down low by Kopechki. Stopped by Fleury, and now Downey going at it with Branson. They said they were going to get together, and they do.
Branson's a big man, and he is pounding away. Downey's trying to take some time, and there he is. And he got it right in there on Branson as they went down.
Downey's not done yet.
Well, he's going to get an extra misconduct for that, as he just is relentless right now. Referees don't like that, and he's sending Downey out. They're sending Downey out.
Downey's saying, hey, you're at 5, it's 6 inches taller than me.
Well, Branson's a big man, and he had the sledgehammer going there for a while. But Downey waited, and he waited, and they went down, and
well, I don't want to get ahead of ourselves, but this is a one-goal hockey game, and entering tonight, the Panthers have gone to overtime in 4 straight games, including back-to-back shootouts. Now, the franchise record for consecutive shootouts is 3. They have done that 3 times. The NHL record is 4, which numerous teams have accomplished, including the Penguins, who have done it twice, most recently in 2011. I don't know if I want to go 20 frames of a shootout, but if that's what it takes, boys, I'm in for the overtime in pay, right?
Well, Danny, last 7 times the Penguins in Florida have gone to the overtime. The Penguins have won every time. Every time, either in the overtime or in the shootout. And there's big Branson in the penalty box. 5 and a 10 for Downey, who's not in the box. He's in the dressing room.
Well, he did get the extra 10 for the extra activity that he engaged in, trying to continue the fight with the linesman breaking it up.
Yep.
And Steve Kozari had a long conversation, the referee, with Gerard Gallant. He probably wanted something else levied against Downey during that. There's a shot through traffic. Each team has 8 shots on the power play in this game. 27 for Florida, 23 for Pittsburgh overall. And the Penguins lead it 2-1. And Luongo made a great save on Crosby a little while ago. That was a huge save. The Penguins would have a 2-goal lead right now.
Yeah, there was a rebound that came after that shot, Staggy, and you could see Hornquist was going to the net, and I thought he had a chance to put it in the net, and he was denied.
Here comes Bobby Farnham against Dylan Olsen. Olsen was able to send the puck back up into Penguin territory. Derek Pouliot goes back to get it. Pouliot with a nice pass to Malkin. Now to Como. He comes with speed. Como likes to turn and look back, and he does. Backs it off the boards for Bobby Farnham. Back for Como. And his shot is blocked. And Dumoulin's got to get back. This is Bergenheim. He pulled up. He looked back. He finds a man. And it's centered again. And right through the paint, Bergenheim's pass just didn't connect. Maybe one pass too many there for the Florida Panthers.
Oh, I don't know how that stayed out. It went right across the goal crease, under his right skate, by his left skate. That close to tying the game at 2 were the Panthers.
Campbell. Ekblad. Boys tips it in, but right to the stick of Dupre. Now to Rust. Ryan Rust feeds it through to Sutter. Look for Spaulding going to the net, and that just missed. Brad Boyes can't take the pass, but he gets to the puck and chops it in behind the net. Letang right there to flick it right back up the wall. Carried to center ice by Spaulding. Out here with Sutter and Rust. Over to the puck goes Bergenheim. Rust just cut inside on him to force the turnover. Nice play there. Here's Harrington with it. Into the slot, and Rust steered it wide of the goal. Now Spaulding looks for Sutter. And I don't know if Rust can keep it up at this pace, but if it's just adrenaline or what it is, but every shift he's out there, something good happens. Now here's the 1-on-4 situation. And they, what happened there? Cooper got a shot away, or was a lone Florida Panther between 4 Penguins.
Yeah, they were
Bjugstad ahead for Huberdeau, and the pass to lose him.
Really got to watch him here. You got to protect the puck here, and you heard Jay Caulfield talk about it. Florida Panthers are taking away the time in the space of the Penguins here right now. They got to move it quickly and support each other.
Hornquist comes to center ice, finds Kunitz. Crosby busting to the net. Kunitz shoots it. It's off the stick of Dylan Olsen. Hornquist with a drive, and Luongo made the save. Now it's Dylan Olsen backhanding it right onto the stick of Crosby. He just dumped it rink wide, and Como skates to the puck. He just came off the bench. Blake Como leaves it for Malkin. Gino tried to step on the inside. He got a need there. He tried to make that move to the inside. I think he's going to be all right.
Yeah. And that was Trocheck who clipped him up the lower part of Trocheck's body. Just a quick move by Malkin, turning it to that forehand, and Trocheck really. There's the right leg comes out, knee to knee almost, or almost shin to shin, maybe more so. As Trocheck, a little bit of knee on Malkin, and that's not going to feel good. This is a chance that went through Fleury earlier. Look at the redirection by Bergenheim, went right through his legs and out the other side. And if his back skate clips any of that puck, Fleury tried to get his left leg back under to make the save, to keep it out. He didn't touch the puck at all. If he touches that puck, it's going to go in and be tied at 2.
Trocheck's in the box. UPMC Sports Medicine power play. Third chance for the Penguins. They're 0 for 3. Crosby with it. For Kunitz. Pass too hard, but it comes over to Malkin. Back around for Sidney Crosby. Hornquist in the high slot. Letang at the right point. Malkin at the left point. Kunitz on the goal line. Crosby with it. McKenzie and Kopechki up top in the penalty kill for the Panthers. Malkin for Letang. Loose puck. Kunitz got pushed down from behind as he was just getting ready to get to the puck, and then it's cleared by the Panthers. And the Penguins will have to regroup from their own zone. Kunitz waiting all the way up ice here. And the Penguins bring it ahead. Evgeny Malkin cuts into the middle. He's tripped by Bolin. That's going to be a penalty. And this time they don't call Malkin for embellishing.
Well, he's been tripped 3 times.
Bolin's been using that stick on people tonight, and that time he didn't get away with it.
Malkin's going to the box again. He's going to the box again. That is not a good call. Not a good call whatsoever.
Florida 63, 2 minutes tripping. Pittsburgh 71, embellishment.
Wow.
Well, the memo must have came out.
He's going to get fined now. James Neal was fined this week. Why would a guy take a dive in the neutral zone when he's on a power play carrying the puck? It doesn't make any sense.
And he was the last guy back.
Yeah, right.
And that leg, he was trying to jump. That stick was right against. And they can look at these and they can relinquish them. I believe they can. Before any fine can be issued.
Pouliot. Letang a drive. Luongo the save. Jokinen to the rebound, and he's able to clear it.
Boy. Still voicing their disapproval with that call.
Pouliot's pass picked off by Jokinen. Cleared by the Panthers. 44 seconds remaining on the Trocheck penalty. Well, the Penguins power play could stop a lot of this stuff. They got to score. And there's Pouliot with it out of Crosby. Back up top now for Derek Pouliot. Hard pass to Letang. Crosby. Back to Letang. Pouliot is a master on the power play, by the way. Here's Crosby closing in to Pouliot. And it's hooked off his stick by Kulikov before he could pull the trigger. He's unhappy with himself as he taps the stick on the ice. And the Panthers got the clear all the way down. 11 seconds remaining on the penalty. Got to move it a little quicker at the NHL level. You don't have time to think. Here's Como with it now. Or Sutter. Sutter back up top to Dupre. Dupre, good stick handling. Brings it towards the net. Now leaves it for Sutter behind the goal. Sutter's hit by Olsen. Penalty's over. Trocheck's on. And Trocheck has the puck now as he comes to center. Sutter all over him. He's able to carry the puck into the Penguin zone and go to the left side where Markov dishes it to the corner. Dupre there. Sends it back around for Harrington. Harrington up the wall for Sutter. And it's going to go the length, and this will be icing against Pittsburgh. So the Penguins 0 for 4 with a man advantage. For a minute, it looked like they were going to have a two-man advantage, but it didn't happen. And
well, the power play has cooled off. 2 for 29 in the last 10. And Malkin, it's not going to help when Malkin's in the box. He was called for embellishment there, and I didn't see it. I think maybe the first one, I'll take the first one. And the second one.
Hey, Bob, on the last one, I don't remember the referee actually saying the word embellishment. I think he just said unsportsmanlike conduct.
Well, that's what he said the first one, too. That's how they call it. Yeah, they call it unsportsmanlike conduct.
The second time he used the word embellishment. Did he say embellishment the first time when he announced it? I don't remember hearing
No, I thought it was unsportsmanlike conduct.
Yeah, and I didn't hear the word embellishment at all. Okay, the first one.
All right.
If you remember, he came back into the face of the player who tripped him, and that may have been the penalty, actually.
Well, let's take a look at the first one again, partner.
Okay.
And here it is, Upshaw.
And watch, Malkin gets up now and responds here. We don't show that, but then he's tripped by Bolin.
Yeah. And that one there, he tried to hurdle, and the stick was there almost between both legs. And that one there, I didn't like that call. I didn't mind the first one if the first one was for what we think it was.
It was referred to as unsportsmanlike conduct, and we'll see if they add the word embellishment on the sheet when we get that between periods.
Well, Sidney Crosby's had his opportunities. He's got slashed a few times in this chippy affair. But look at that, knocked it out of the air between his legs from behind. Wow. Mike, you got a lot of young defensemen to line up. What's your thoughts on that? And of course, Derek Pouliot, who you know well.
Yeah, well, it's one of those situations where now we get a chance to see our depth on defense. And we've talked about it a lot. We really like our young prospects, and they're getting a chance now to play, in some tough games, real tough games heading into this Christmas break. And I thought Derek's been good. He's had some poise. We've got to have a good second here.
Here's Derek Pouliot. Bobby, I have the names of the guys who are playing defense in Wilkes-Barre tonight. Reed McNeil, Barry Goers, Nick D'Agostino, Alex Boak, Paul Cianfrini, and Clark Seymour. Those are the 6D tonight in Wilkes-Barre. Everybody else is up here. We've got Harrington here, Dumoulin, Pouliot, and Scott Harrington. So that's the way it is. It's injuries, but you have depth, and you get a chance to see some guys play, as Mike Johnston said. And we've already seen Derek Pouliot score his first NHL goal here. And the Penguins lead 2-1. Dumoulin works it ahead. And back to get it goes Kulikov.
Rule 64.3, Staggy, is that diving / embellishment rule. And we'll see if Malkin is under that category.
Bob, it is on the sheet as embellishment on the computer.
Okay, so first one's a warning, second one's a $2,000 fine, third one $3,000. After that, the coach is going to get fined as well.
But the first call was just unsportsmanlike conduct. The word embellishment was not on the sheet. It is on the second. Here's Letang to it. And now Upshaw. Crosby took it away and immediately found Chris Kunitz. Kunitz slides it into the middle towards the net, and Luongo thinks he'd better stop play. So face-off coming up in the Florida zone. On the latest edition of the Penguins In the Room program, right winger Blake Como is mic'd up. Pascal Dupuis discusses his latest health scare and shares his family's reaction to the news and much more. In the Room Monday after postgame on Root Sports. Penguins have a great television production crew. They did a fantastic job on the Penguins organization's Christmas card that was sent
that
out.
was awesome.
Take off on the Christmas Story trailer. It was excellent. Here's Farnham with it now. Farnham got tripped. Farnham picks up the puck, so Farnham draws a penalty here. And don't do anything more, Bobby, because you've just done your job. You just drew a penalty.
Jokinen went back at him from behind, so Farnham getting the Penguins back on the power play. And there he is with the shot from behind. You can see Dave Bolin, and Dave Bolin's going to keep coming at him, and then of course Jokinen's going to come from behind and give him a little shot. Well, Luongo's held true to form here in this hockey game for Florida. He gave up a knuckler early, but he's given up 3 or less in 21 of 24 games, has Roberto Luongo, the 35-year-old, in his second stint here in Florida, giving his team a chance to win the game. And
here's Kunitz in front, trying to turn to the forehand. He couldn't pull it off. Back out to Malkin. Malkin with a shot, and it just missed the net. With the near side held in by Letang. Penguins are 0 for 4 with a man advantage. A great chance here to get the 2-goal lead late in the second period would make a huge difference. Here's Hornquist with it. Letang to the net. And Luongo right on the goal line, able to make the save.
And then Kunitz trying to take a little whack. Mitchell and Kulikov sealing him off. No second opportunity for the Penguins, but they did get the puck down low. There was one play by Malkin out at the top of the wall, and Hornquist cycling up to keep that puck in. And then they get it to the pads, the feet of Luongo, who's deep in his net, able to make that save. 30 shots to 26 for
Last
Florida.
Letang shot, Bob, hit a leg on the way to the net, too, so it was like a redirect, but Luongo was so deep in his net, he was able to make the save. Now here's Crosby with it on the left wing boards. Down low for Kunitz. Kunitz tried to send it to Hornquist. That went off a leg and came right back to the goaltender.
Yeah, again, deep in the net, right along that goal line, and keeping the puck out is Roberto Luongo, having a terrific year. A .926 save percentage off of 2 defensemen, and Karam off 4, and then 44 good Branson right to the feet of Luongo.
Kunitz, Crosby to Malkin. Back to Sid. Kunitz is in front of the net. Crosby with a shot, deflected away and up into the netting behind the goal.
No rule is that puck stays inside as it goes off Hornquist into the netting. Last year, it would come outside. This year, the puck stays inside for the face-off, giving the power play another opportunity.
Crosby against Upshaw here on the face-off.
Crosby likes to go to the wall with his face-off. Get some help from Kunitz.
Crosby able to win the draw. He tried to go to the wall, went off the stick of Upshaw, but right to Malkin. And now Malkin takes the pass from Sid, fakes the shot to Letang. Back to Gino, keeping it in for Crosby. Minute 2 to go on the penalty. Kunitz in front, Hornquist high slot. Crosby looking it over. Back up top to Malkin. Willie Mitchell confronts Sid, but he's able to get the puck to Gino. Not much room. Still, though, popping out was Hornquist to help out. Gives it back to Malkin. And now to Letang, a drive, and it's off a stick of Jokinen and up into the netting. And this line of Hornquist, Crosby, and Kunitz is going to be replaced now. And they're a line that was used a lot on the power play at the beginning of the year, as well as at even strength, where they were putting up huge numbers. Look what they did in the first 13 games of the season. 24 goals. 5, though, in the last 18. Now, injuries have been a factor there, and also diminished power play opportunities. And Malkin and Como, meanwhile, have combined for 17 goals during that time when they've cooled off. Here's a shot by Como, and it's off a stick and up into the netting. The fact of the matter is, that line of Kunitz, Crosby, and Hornquist will probably get it going again. They're not going to continue to be as cool as they've been, and now that they're all healthy and together, you would think that they'll start clicking one more time.
Pouliot getting a chance on this second power play. They're going to flip sides. Pouliot's going to be on the right side where he played in Wilkes-Barre for the second power play. Without Ehrhoff, without Martin, he gets that opportunity.
28 seconds remaining on the ball and penalty. Pouliot moves it to the right side of Sutter. And ahead now to Como. Back around to the near side where it's taken by Dupre. Dupre shot and off a stick. Pouliot racing in. Can he keep it in? He did poke it to the corner to keep it alive. Now Sutter gets on the puck. And Como got knocked down. He gets back up as Gotch goes in there to try to get control. Very physical there along the boards. Good work though by the Penguins. And now the penalty's going to come to an end. Boland's on the ice. Dupre works it down low to Sutter. Sutter back up top. Dupre to Sutter. Panthers are back at full strength. Boland got a piece of that. Dupre takes it to center. Swings it along now for Sutter. Steps back into the Florida zone. Sutter drops it to Como and his shot. And Boland got in there to deflect it up into the netting behind the Florida goal.
Whistles upon whistles. Chippy. A slow, long hockey game. And still only 2-1 despite the fact 36 shots registered near the end of the second.
Well, a tight hockey game continues here at Consol Energy Center. By the way, last night we made a trip up to Youngstown, Ohio, where former Penguin Troy Loney is now a co-owner of the USHL's Phantoms. Last night he was extremely busy before the game, and during the game for that matter. The Cup was in the house, it was Penguins night. So what's it been like to return to hockey and run the day-to-day operations of the team? Find out on next month's edition of Inside Penguins Hockey. Hey, Bobby Stagg, he's doing a good job up there.
Oh, you know.
Of course he is. It's Troy Loney.
Yeah.
He's a Penguin for life. There's Bergenheim dumping into the... Now a Phantom. Back to the corner goes Scuderi. Andrew Ebbett got hit there by Bergenheim, but the Penguins battle on the wall to try to keep the Panthers from creating any offense here. The Penguins up by 1. And they failed to score on 5 power play chances here tonight. Here's Scuderi with it. Scuderi just make sure he gets it out to center where it's taken by Bobby Farnham. And he's going to get in on the forecheck. Here comes Farnham in on Campbell. Takes the puck away from him. Moves it to the point of Derek Pouliot. To Scuderi. Scuderi shot. And ready for the net was Ebbett trying to tip one.
Farnham, he's unbelievable. He's like a heat-seeking missile out here.
He's effective, I'll tell you that. Here's Ekblad with it back to the front of the net. Steered away by Fleury to Huberdeau. And that shot was blocked, and that had to hurt a little bit anyway. Ebbett, who went down to block that shot, still puck stays right there. And it's right in the paint, was cleared away by Spaulding. And Ebbett able to bank it up to the blue line, didn't get it out. Panthers hold it in. Boyd's turning shot was blocked. Scuderi back to the puck. He chops at it. Then Branson got it back to the front of the net. Pouliot with a good stick to steer it away. Now it's going to be picked up by Brian Rust. Rust comes ahead, dumps it behind the defense and gets in after it on the forecheck against Goodbranson. He got body position on him. Rust working the wall. But the Panthers physically, as Goodbranson pushed the Rust forward, were able to get to the puck. Now it is Fleury backhanding it around to the right side for Rust. Rust comes ahead with Malkin. Instead, he passes it over to Como. Como drops it off. The shot by Harrington and a glove save made by Luongo. That's a beauty there.
Yeah, that's a good one. He caught that one behind his body. Brought it back to life. Big save by Luongo. He's got the glove up. You see, puts it up in position early. And makes a real nice save. Luongo that time on the top of his crease to deny the slap shot of Harrington. Our Super Mo presented by Allegheny Health Network showing that. There's Farnham. And that is his second hit. And then he came up a little bit lame there, guys. Bobby Farnham had to go to the dressing room.
Yeah, I heard him barking as he came off the ice. A lot of collisions for that guy. Here's Harrington back to the puck. Penguins smartly bring it out of their own zone. 1:54 to go in the period. A chance here for Letang down the right wing. Letang pulls up and finds Crosby. Nowhere to go with it. He was well covered. And the Panthers counterattack. Letang. Offside is called, and there was a late whistle there as Bolin thought he had a step on Letang.
It was a close call. Bolin's been a little chippy in this hockey game. And Chris Letang trying to play that 3-on-2 as Florida was coming through that neutral zone. So Downey's not available, Farnham's not available, and more injuries mounting up for this Penguin hockey team. It's already 100 man games, correct? 100 man games?
It's 62 of them in December.
Wow.
When it rains, it pours, doesn't it? Here's Upshaw now stepping into the Penguin zone. Back to get it goes Dumoulin. Kopetsky on him. Imagine what it must be like for John Hines down in Wilkes-Barre. His team was rolling along, and now he doesn't have many players left.
No, and he lost Pouliot yesterday. As Pouliot gets called up, he was their leading scorer. And Rust is here.
He was their leading scorer when he got called up.
Yep. Well, Mike Johnson, he knows all about Derek Pouliot, and all indications from what I was hearing, the rumblings, is he wanted Pouliot up here whenever he could get him. And Derek Pouliot right in front of him. Played 5 years, and he was the Canadian Hockey League Defenseman of the Year last year. All Canada. He was the best junior player on the blue line.
And of course, Aaron Ekblad was playing in the same season, was he not? So,
1 minute remaining in the period.
here's Bergenheim. Ekblad has been really good in his rookie year with the Florida Panthers. Here's a shot by Goodbranson, another first-round pick of the Panthers defenseman. There's a big hit by Dufresne. He's going to get a penalty here.
Yeah, he hits big Barkov, and Barkov didn't see him coming. He already hit somebody over on the left wing wall in the defensive zone, and he doesn't miss many opportunities to Simon Dupre to make a hit. He's fourth in hits amongst defensemen in the National Hockey League, despite the fact that he doesn't play as many minutes as some of them. And he caught Barkov a little unsuspecting, and hence the interference call. So there's the pass, backhand pass, and Barkov was looking at that pass, and Simon
recently
Dupre came from the other side.
Dupre recently said, Bob, that he never was a player who hit that much. He's added that to his game. It's kind of remarkable, really, that he's been able to do it so successfully. I mean,
he's a big guy. They wanted him to work on his defensive game, as they do all young defensemen. And with his size, some guys aren't going to bring the offensive goods to the National Hockey League. Pouliot will bring those offensive goods, and he's got to bring them to be a good national leaguer.
Centering pass by Huberdeau. Scuderi likes to put that body down to block those centering passes. It went off of him and right to the equipment of Fleury, who freezes. Less than a minute remaining in the second period.
It's an art, isn't it? It's all timing. You want to go down to one knee sometimes. Sometimes you go all the way down to the stomach, and he blocks that cross crease pass by Huberdeau trying to go back door. Nice work by Scuderi.
Panthers are 1 for 3 with a man advantage this evening. This is Huberdeau with it. And stolen away. Gotch able to get to the puck, and the former Florida Panther dumps it to the corner and heads to the bench. Pass for Bukestad comes all the way through and taken by Ekblad. Back to Bukestad. Up top, Aaron Ekblad to Campbell. Wrist shot this time, and Fleury got a piece of that. Now Campbell with it again, back to the side of the net. Huberdeau with it now. 2 seconds to go in the period. They need to get a shot away here. Shot by Ekblad off the goalpost. And the period ends. Fleury thanks his goalpost. And the Penguins retain the 1-goal lead with 1:11 remaining on that penalty to Dupre when we start the third.
Yeah, this would have, yeah, it would have counted. Good job with the clock, guys, and Marc-Andre Fleury with a little loving for his goalie's best friend.
And let's go now to our best friend during the intermission, Rob King, with his best friend, Jay Coffey.
Steige and Bob, thanks very much. Jay, we didn't see the same amount of scoring, but again, plenty of action, plenty of nastiness out there. The fight that we saw as well.
After that happens, usually the game's going to settle down a little bit. There's still big. You saw Dupre said, look, it's on it. Right now it's a 2-1 hockey game, and they both had 12 shots on net. Still a number that Pittsburgh is not going to be happy with, but both teams working hard, and you got to go with it. It's about goaltending going forward. Luongo, after that first goal that he let in, we all saw it. He knows that's one he can't give up. He's been solid. So,
all right, the Penguins leading by the score of 2-1. Stick around. We'll have highlights from around the NHL. Dan Potat catches up with Chris Kunitz and Jay's Telestration when we return. 70 minutes of penalties, including 2 fighting incidents, 3 goals, all kinds of shots on goal, plenty of action. If you're just joining us, here is what you've missed.
Steve Downey steps out of the corner, centers down, pulling up with a shot. He scores! Harrington in the box for high sticking. The Panthers ranked 25th with a man advantage. They want to get it going. They score! Crosby takes off, wants the puck, trying to take it around Mitchell. He's got it. Crosby to the goal. Stopped by Luongo. Here's Crosby to the goal. Great save. This is Bergenheim. He pulled up. He looked back. He finds a man. And it's centered again. Crazy stuff, Bob. Lots of shots, lots of scoring opportunities, lots of penalty minutes, lots of, well, acrimony, I would say, in this game. Good stuff for the first of a home and home.
Yeah, it was really good stuff there, Staggy. So for Pittsburgh, you got to control your emotions here in the third period of play. It's anybody's game. A lot of opportunities. I expect it to be tight here. Not as many penalties or whistles in the third, you would think.
Lots of ugly sweaters out there in the in our viewing area. We had a few sent to us. Now, those don't look too bad. We asked people to send some of their ugly holiday sweaters. There's a good one. Thanks for tweeting us these photographs. You got to love that one. There's nothing ugly about that. A Penguin sweater. Happy holidays to everybody. Merry Christmas. There's some sweaters in attendance here tonight, too. Did you? Of course, hockey jerseys have always been referred to as sweaters over the years. When the very first hockey jerseys actually kind of looked like sweaters. Is that how you referred to it, Bob, when you were a kid?
Sweaters. Oh, yeah. It was always a sweater.
You don't drop that sweater on the floor, do you? Ever?
No, it's like the flag. You got to take care of that thing. And in the Penguins dressing room, you don't step on the Penguins logo when it's on the carpet anywhere. Any logo in the National Hockey League, you want to walk around it, treat it with respect that it deserves.
This is a key start to the third period because Dupre is in the box for another minute 11. And the Florida Panthers want to tie this game if they can with a man advantage, but the Penguins control the opening faceoff. Marcel Gottsch winning it, and that's important when you're shorthanded. So they made the Panthers go 200 feet. Here's Huberdeau into the Penguin zone. Left it there for Ekblad, who softly put it behind the net. Scuderi tried to get it out. Now it comes free, and Scuderi ahead to Spalling, and he'll shoot it back down into the Florida zone. Ekblad paired up with Campbell, Trocheck, Bjugstad, and Huberdeau up front on the power play. And then on the right wing, out of the reach of Trocheck, he'll get in after it. Comes free to the near wall where Evan is able to steer it back to center. But Bjugstad moves it right to Trocheck, and his shot, a good one, blockered away by Fleury. And Letang able to lift the puck back to center.
Not used to seeing a Penguin penalty kill without Craig Adams out there, Staggy. It's still unfamiliar for me.
I mentioned it earlier. In 319 games he went consecutively. Finally out of the lineup here tonight. And definitely missed on the penalty kill in terms of what he can do, but the Penguins doing their best to deal with it, as the Panthers do have one power play goal tonight. And they will not score on this one as Dupre is out of the box. So
50,
now the Penguins at full strength.
55 face-offs so far in this hockey game as we just start the third period here.
Wow. Face-offs, penalties, and shots on goal tonight. Not a lot of goals. Pretty good saves, though. Here's Dumoulin with a wrister. That one through traffic. Crosby looks for the puck. Branson cleared it, but it went right to Scuderi. Behind the net now for Kunitz. Kunitz to Hornquist, and the pass for him was deflected away, and Scuderi goes back to get it in his own zone.
That's Barkov, big kid. I gotta tell you, he's so smart out there on the ice. He can turn it up when he wants to.
A steal here by the Panthers, and an opportunity now for Bolland. And down on his knees to make a defensive play was Blake Como, but a chance for Bolland again. Fleury with a great pad save on Bolland as he turned it to the backhand of Fleury. Was very patient, let him make the first move, and then kicked it away. Now Luongo freezes one in the paint, and we'll have a face-off in the Florida zone.
Oh, man. I tell you, Bolland had a real good opportunity, and he kind of fanned on the first shot. Went off the heel of his stick, but he stayed with it. He fans on it, goes off his heel. Fleury, with paddle down, is able to still stop with that right pad. Look at how he jams it down with his left skate to get back to the right side. Incredible work there by Fleury, and that's just not overcommitting on the first opportunity so that you can make the second move. It's really good technical work there. Rust is out with Malkin right now and Como in a 2-1 hockey game.
He got a chance to play with these guys a little bit against the Avalanche the other night.
Yeah, and he filled in when Crosby was injured a couple of shifts in this hockey game, Staggy. He brings those offensive abilities.
Como's a versatile guy. He can move to the left wing, and it doesn't seem to phase him. He can play all three forward positions. Here's Letang ahead to Como. He steers it in. Luongo just dishes it off for Campbell. Como in on the forecheck with a solid body check on Campbell. We'll do another little push for good measure. And it's Kopecky coming into the Penguin zone with Upshaw. His shot off the stick of Scuderi. Another block by Rob Scuderi up into the netting. On the latest edition of Inside Penguins Hockey, hear about the guys' favorite goal celebrations. Spend the afternoon with 3 of the Penguins' German players as they enjoy a bit of their homeland right here in Pittsburgh, and much more. Inside Penguins Hockey tonight after postgame on Root Sports.
Steve Downey's back after being banished for a while. 15 minutes and penalties in that second period. He's back on the ice here in the third.
See Bobby Farnham down there on the bench, Bob?
No Farnham on. Oh, yes, I do. He is. He's way down there by the D. He's back on the bench, Farnham.
Centering pass for Downey went right under his stick, and Kopecky comes back for the Panthers and dumps it into the Penguin zone. So good to know that Mayhem is back. Now taken out by the blue line and shot by Upshaw. The save by Fleury. Let's take a look at hockey's answer to Mayhem, Bobby Farnham.
Well, that was the big hit on Ekblad that really got the fireworks going here in Pittsburgh tonight, and he was relentless. He drew a penalty. Then he got banged up after a couple of hits on Campbell, and for Bobby Farnham. He had to go to the dressing room in that second period, but he's back here in the third in a one-goal game. We got a lot of yapping going on. Downey's back on the ice. Upshaw, he's no stranger to the verbal discussion, is he?
Shot by Huberdeau, and that's blocked. Hornquist ended up on top of Trocheck. Puck bounces to the Florida line. Picked up now by Crosby, swinging in and shooting up high, and a save by Luongo. Good release there by Crosby. Shot it early. Luongo had to be alert. Panthers push it back into the Penguin zone. When Crosby getting shots, he's getting himself free for pretty good opportunities to release that shot. Puck's just not going in right now for him. Here's an opportunity now for the Panthers, and it's fired over the goal by Nick Bjugstad. He had a good chance there, and he didn't get a shot on the net. Thank goodness. Now to the point it comes to Olsen, and his shot is blocked. I mean, Dumoulin to put a stick down to block it. Hornquist moves it along for Kunitz. And Panthers just turn it back the other way towards the Penguin zone. Letang going back to get it. Both teams shuffle the deck here as the puck is cleared up the right wing and off the stick of Crosby. He just steered it in and went back to the bench himself. Bobby Farnham is on the ice. Left wing pass now for Bergenheim. Stepping up on him with a solid body check was Letang. Fired wide of the net and back to the center ice area.
Bergenheim, he tried to move to the right just at the end of that, tried to avoid that hit and took a lot of it in the right leg. Big hit by Letang on the wall.
Barkov couldn't move the puck to the right wing, but he gets it again and centers it. It comes all the way through for Kulikov. Kulikov to Willie Mitchell. The slap shot and a blocker save by Fleury, aggressively getting out and steering that puck up into the netting.
Let's take a look at this hit by Chris Letang. We know he's got the offensive goods. Defensively, gets that left hip out, and Bergenheim goes down. That was just a beautiful hit. Supermo presented by Allegheny Health Network, and check on the health of Bergenheim after that one.
Long way to go in this hockey game.
And these two teams meet up again in a couple of days in hopefully sunny Florida.
Jokin, a nice pass to the point. Kulikov's drive, and Fleury calmly makes the save. And that's the thing about the Flower. Part of why he's been so good this year is that calmness that he has in the net.
He's really looking these shots into his glove.
Yeah.
Notice that in the last two. He's just watching the puck in his head. You can see it go right into the glove with that puck.
Here's a chance now for Fleischmann, a big save, and another one by Fleury. And he's scrambling around, and I think he kept the puck out again on Jokinen, who may have got that puck towards the goal. Fleury maybe 3 saves there. I think the third one with his goal stick.
I don't know how he made the third one. If he did, I don't know how he made the second one. Seriously, that's incredible stuff. I'm sitting here wondering how you can react that quickly.
He's just playing out of his mind right now. Here's Brian Rust coming out of his own zone. Rust, here he goes again with that motor running. Rust trying to bring it to the goal, but it's knocked off his stick. Indito Malkin centered it. Everybody went to the net. The puck came out into the high slot where Fleischmann takes it back and just dumps it right to the Penguin defense. The Panthers are changing. Penguins go D to D. Derek Pouliot up the right wing for Como. Steers it towards the goal. Sutter in after it.
I just want to see the replay. We need a whistle so I can see those saves again. That was great work by Marc-Andre Fleury.
Sutter around Campbell. Has Downey going to the net, and he passed it to him right past his blade. It was an airborne pass. He couldn't knock it out of midair. Taken now at center ice by Dumoulin. Lead pass steered in again by Sutter to the goal. Luongo decides to stop play.
Well, from the overhead, let's look at the work of Marc-Andre Fleury. 1, 2, and a third. Hello, thank you.
Here's Derek Schooley, the coach of the very successful Robert Morris hockey team. They will be part of the Three Rivers Classic December 29th. 17th ranked Colgate against Western Michigan. Then 19th ranked Robert Morris against 20th ranked Penn State. Already ranked 20th. Penn State new to the Division I world of hockey with that beautiful new rink up there at State College. Championship and consolation games on the 30th. Be a part of it. The Three Rivers Classic coming to Pittsburgh this holiday season. We hope you can be here. The Penguins will be on the road, so a good chance to get out and see some great college hockey.
Oh yeah, Derek Schooley, a great coach, and he's got the Robert Morris Colonials flying right now, Steg.
A one-goal game here. Panthers are used to this. They've been involved in a lot of tight ones. There's another one off the goalpost. Shot from the right point by Goodbranson. That one hit the outside of the post. Yeah, back to the front of the net again. It comes all the way out to the point. Olsen fakes the shot. Now for Upshaw into the slot. Kunitz will take it. Ahead now for Hornquist, who just pokes it up to center and goes to the bench.
Kopetsky with the redirect there. Another goal post behind Marc-Andre Fleury. He's just giving his best friend some more loving.
Ryan Rust sends it down the wall. Back up top now for Dupre. And a cross taken by Letang to the shot. Score! Deflected in! Sidney Crosby!
His first home goal in 11 games for Sidney Crosby. And his third in 21. A goal post on a redirect in front of Marc-Andre Fleury. The Penguins take it the other way. Great play from Dupre, fake, and then watch Letang freeze Luongo. Luongo gets locked in, and there's the shot, redirect by Sidney Crosby, Staggy. His first goal at home in 11, and the Penguins get that third one on the board, that insurance marker.
Saw Crosby do that a lot the year that he suffered his concussion when he was getting those deflection goals, getting down around the net and steering pucks in. There's a good chance again on a redirect, and Fleury kicked the puck out with his right pad. Another shot by Mitchell, hit something in front.
Tremendous save by Fleury through traffic and redirect, and he's in perfect position. He just flicks that right leg out. It's just a little subtle move.
Malkin trying to get around the defense. Willie Mitchell. Really solid defenseman, man. Willie Mitchell, originally drafted by the New Jersey Devils. Late round pick, won the Stanley Cup with the Kings. Nice acquisition for the Florida Panthers. Here comes Steve Downey back now, and over the line, drops it off to Malkin. Malkin with a shot blocker, save made by Luongo. Downey went to the net looking for the rebound. Now he gets in a little jousting match with Willie Mitchell as the puck comes back up into the Penguin zone. Back to get it goes Pouliot. Around for Scuderi, and up the wall goes right to Ekblad. He centered, but Spalling came back to make sure the Panthers didn't get a play there going east to west. Now Ekblad with it at center ice. He'll go to the left wing, and Barkov steps in, centers it. Boys wanted to bring it back and fire it, but Scuderi broke it up. Now back in front, another break up there by Farnham as it came through. Fleury still though made the save on Ekblad. Another shot down low, taken by Boys, is stopped by Fleury. He's stopping everything. It is unbelievable what Marc-Andre Fleury is doing in this game. They have 43 shots on goal. They've scored once. Here's Sutter moving it up the center.
Oh, dang, he's just been incredible. Seeing beach balls, we're not even in Florida.
And we won't be seeing him down there this time either, because we're not going to be anywhere near the beach.
Oh man, he's unconscious right now. He really is. And he's going to have to be. Florida's just coming and coming. How many shots now? 43.
Dumoulin back to the puck. Now Dupre. Picked up now by Gotch. And he'll flip it back out to center ice. Well, the Penguins playing without Ehrhoff and Martin. Here's Fleischmann leaving it there now for Bolin. Back for Fleischmann. He'll go get it along the end boards. He's hit again by Dupre, who went down on the play. Olsen's shot blocked by Bobby Farnham. And the puck's carried back to center by Andrew Ebbett. He wanted to lead Farnham to the corner, but nice stick work there by Dylan Olsen to knock it out of midair. Now Ebbett does dump it in and turn and go to the bench. Still a lot of time left. Half a period remaining in this game.
Yeah, this period here, a little more up and down action, fewer whistles. Giveaway.
Crosby with it again. Looks back. Harrington shot. Luongo the save. Hornquist to the rebound behind the goal. Pops her out around in front of the net. It's going to be covered by Luongo and held.
Great redirect by Hornquist on the Harrington shot. And at the other end, Marc-Andre Fleury just putting on a show. We're going to have to raise the price of the seats behind Marc-Andre Fleury. Look at that. Look at the composure. And then he gets right over. He makes it look so simple.
He's gotten better at making it look easy. There's no doubt about that. Wow. Crosby getting the goal from Letang and Dupre at 7:01 to give the Penguins a 3-1 lead here in the third period. Don't forget, there were 48 shots for the Penguins, 29 shots for the Avs the other night. We've seen a lot of shots on goal in the last two games here at Consol Energy Center. 43 for the Panthers, 33 for Pittsburgh at the moment. Harrington steps up nicely. Took his man into the wall. Hughes around the net. Bukestad looking for it. It was Trocheck that Harrington hit. And he goes back to the Florida bench on an icing call against Pittsburgh. How good are the Penguins? Well, you know what they are? They're the best team in the NHL right now. It's not point totals. Let's look at the winning percentage and look at the difference. The Penguins are leading the National Hockey League in winning percentage. They played fewer games, have fewer points than the teams ahead of them, like Anaheim, for instance. This has been the case now for a couple of weeks. The Penguins are having an amazing season as we head to the Christmas break. Now they're doing it with a lot of top players out of the lineup.
21-6-4 for the Penguins. Another ice, and Crosby is going to have to go down to one knee again, possibly, to win a faceoff. And many ways to skin a cat, if you will. And for Sidney Crosby, he wins faceoffs many different ways. Take a look at how he wins this one. Wants the left leg down to one knee as he tries to get that leverage, that angle against the big Barkov. And now he's on the other side, turns the bottom hand over, and there it is. A little more strength that way, and good timing.
Bergenheim behind the net trying to get a hold of the puck. Letang there too. He hit a man there on the end boards. Just trying to forget about the puck and take the body there. It was Barkov. Now the Panthers keep it in the Penguin zone. Harrington sends it backwards for Letang, who winds it around now for Crosby. Crosby turns and spins one nicely on the backhand back to center ice. The Penguins are 13-1-3 when they register 30 or more shots in a game. They've got 33 right now. Now Como in his own zone, and he'll flip it up to center ice. 8:40 remaining. Malkin 2-on-1 with Hornquist. Hornquist there to the goal. Luongo makes the save. Hornquist really couldn't do much with it. Malkin frustrated that they weren't able to score.
Yeah, he was in tight. Luongo was out. Not much angle on the 2-on-1. Sidney Crosby, he got the third, his first and 11 at home. Yeah, 7 shots on net for Sidney Crosby, and sometimes that's what it takes. Mike Johnson says 10 shots, you're going to get 1 goal. That's 10%. Well, you got to stick with it. Crosby, look at that play out of the air from behind his back, robbed by Roberto Luongo. And you got to keep shooting. And that was a real nice play. Dupre over to Letang, throws the netminder, and Sidney Crosby was able to shuffle it into the net behind Luongo, was out to cut down the angle on Letang.
Tough night for Sid physically. I mean, he got slashed on the left hand early in this game. He had to leave for a while, came back, took a high stick from Branson to the chops.
Yeah, that's when, well, when you pay attention to somebody, and Sidney Crosby, everybody pays attention to him one way or another.
3-1, Pittsburgh leading, 8:12 remaining. Back behind the net, Fleischman couldn't stop it. Rust gets over on his off wing. Pinching down on him was Branson, and now Rust just trying to keep the puck on the wall here. And Malkin steps in and pries it free. Panthers knock it back in and offside. Subway sandwich of the game, and that is going to be delivered by Bobby Farnham.
And which one? As he keeps coming, that one was on the 18-year-old Ekblad.
That started everything.
That got it going. And now for Florida, they're going to have to put some of the hatred away, and they're going to have to try to find a way to put one behind 29 Marc-Andre Fleury, and that's no easy task.
Penguins are a hard team to play against now, aren't they?
They're 4th in goals against the National Hockey League. And
tonight, I mean, tonight it's all about Flower. The defense core depleted, and young guys. Harrington playing in his 2nd NHL game, pulling out his first. Steal by Spaulding to the goal, shoots it, and it's partially blocked as he let it go. Dumoulin playing in his 11th game tonight. Kulikov with it. Now Dupre drops it back. Sid steers it into the Florida zone, but from behind the red line, so it's icing against Pittsburgh.
It looked like it hit Ekblad as well, as I was right in front of it, but they're still going to call it ice.
Both of these teams are playing well defensively, Bob, and that's why in these low-scoring, tight games that Florida's been in so mumuch.
Yeah, look at the way their goals against us come down as a team. Luongo added to the mix again, and a 2.40, and that keeps them competitive each and every night, Florida, because you see they do have some assets offensively.
Sidney Crosby finds the puck. Goes across for Letang, but good read there on the back check by Kopechki. Kopechki leaves it there for Derek McKenzie.
12 of the last 14 games for Florida have been 1-goal games. And look at that bouncy puck. Fleury kept the glove behind the stick in case it bounced, and it went right in the glove.
Hornquist driving down the wall. Campbell trying to maintain possession of the puck. Now Kunitz looks for Crosby. Panthers get it. 6:30 remaining in the game. The Penguins up by 2. Penguins are 4-0-2 in their last 6 games. 11-3-3 in their last 17. Continuing to win games despite all the injuries here in the month of December. There's Bergenheim with it. Throwing it across off a stick into the netting. And a face-off coming up in the Penguin zone.
Yeah, 43 shots by Florida tonight. That's the most the Penguins have given up all year long. They gave up 37 to Winnipeg earlier. But sometimes it's the quality. But I got to tell you, there has been some sort of quality in Florida's chances. Marc-Andre Fleury is, well, he's just distinguished everything. Extinguished everything, excuse me.
And distinguished, too.
Yeah.
Here's a lead pass for Rust. He couldn't take it cleanly, and it's going to be icing. So they bring it back to the Penguin zone again. The Florida Panthers, a little 2-game trip here. They beat the Flyers in a shootout 2-1 after beating the Capitals in that crazy 20-round one that Dan was talking about earlier. They beat the Red Wings in a shootout 3-2. They lost to the Buffalo Sabres in overtime 4-3. They're just doing what they can to stay in the hunt. Dylan Olsen dumps into the Penguin zone. Scuderi there. Right behind now. A nice little pass from behind the net by Pouliot out in front of the net to Marcel Gotch.
Yeah,
he
good,
brought it to center ice.
Good stuff. Good support by Gotch. And they allow that pass. In my day, you don't want to put the pass in front of your own net, but it's part of exiting your zone now.
And Mike Johnston talked about that, in fact, today, about how the centermen have really done a good job with helping out the defense for the Penguins, and he gave them a lot of the credit for why the Penguins are so good defensively right now. He really gave credit to the centers, and there's a puck out of play. And basically, Bob, if you remember, when he was asked in his very first press conference what his approach was, he said, the centers are going to be very important in my system.
We may have a penalty when we come back. Scuderi's going to the box. Well, Rob Scuderi's unavailable to kill a penalty here late in the third period for Pittsburgh. The delay of game call as he flips it over the glass and into the netting. No Ehrhoff, no Martin. And the Pittsburgh Penguins are going to have to kill off this penalty.
That's a rarity right there. Rob Scuderi sitting in the penalty box. You just don't see that very often. The Florida Panthers are 1 for 4. 13 of their 44 shots have come on their 4 power play opportunities. The first goal they scored was the one by Vince Trocheck, the only goal that was deflected in as he stood right in front of Marc-Andre Fleury.
Yeah, and that's the only first period power play goal for Florida all season long.
Wow. And here's a chance here for Ekblad. A blast, and Fleury right there to make the save on Ekblad, and no rebound out of the top of his crease.
And that was tough. It was a knuckler. That came off the stick of Ekblad, and it was knuckling hard, like a hard knuckler, end over end. And Marc-Andre, look at how it's on edge, and you can see it flipping through the air from the Super Bowl presented by Allegheny Health Network, floating in there pretty fast.
Face off to the left. Marc-Andre Fleury, Bjugstad taking the draw against Gotch, and the Panthers end up keeping the puck in the zone. Trocheck fell down, but the puck stays with the Panthers. Huberdeau to Bjugstad. Campbell brings it to the middle. Nick Bjugstad with a shot up high off the glass, and it stays right there where it can be handled by Campbell for Huberdeau. Reaching in to take it away from him. Harrington, good defensive play to Gotch, and then to Sutter, and they methodically and use teamwork there to get the puck out of the zone and up to the ice on the penalty kill. You love that.
Oh, you know I do, and it's just you know, that's just the technique that the schooling and the video that teams go over. It's a lot different now, and you have to do that with pinching defensemen down the wall. You need help exiting that puck.
Got to know where everybody is.
Yeah, a lot of communication, that helps.
Puck off the wall, Spalling able to clear it back into the Florida zone. It's not just getting the puck and firing it down. Penguins now have 56 more seconds to kill on the penalty to Scuderi. Here's Barkov pulling up and dumping it behind, out of the reach of Dumoulin. Around now for Kulikov. Luongo goes to the bench here.
Here we
Panthers
go.
down by 2. They've got an empty net, an extra attacker on.
4 minutes left in the game.
Yeah. Gutsy move by Gerard Gallant.
Element of surprise, and the Penguins are even surprised by it as they start yelling at the team players on the ice. Empty net, empty net.
Here's Kulikov with it now. He shoots it, and it was blocked by Andrew Ebbett, but Kulikov gets it back. Kulikov brings it around and in behind the net. Back. Dupre reached in. Fleury able to grab the puck and hold on to it. And that puck just came off a stick and right to where Fleury could cover.
I got to tell you, I really like that play by Gerard Gallant. The element of surprise, nobody expected it. Don't know whether he'll go back with Luongo or not, but a 6-on-4, you're down by 2 goals here. Time out, Florida. So we're going to have a timeout here first. He wants to get all of his horses, or Panthers, if you will, rested as they come to the bench and discuss what's going to happen. Now, Mike Johnson knows all about Derek Pouliot. Almost 15 minutes for him and 20 shifts, a couple of shots. He's got a goal. Dumoulin and Scott Harrington, those 3 young blue liners for Pittsburgh with all the injuries, really contributing right now.
Amazing, really, isn't it?
Well, they're very mobile.
I mean, the Penguins traded Philip Samuelson, so you add him to the mix of guys who left Wilkes-Barre here in the last few weeks and came to Pittsburgh or were traded in the case of Samuelson to Phoenix for Rob Klinkhammer, who's a scratch tonight. There's a good look at Brian Dumoulin, acquired in that deal that also brought the Penguins the pick that they used to take Derek Pouliot in the trade with Jim Rutherford when he was the GM of the Carolina Hurricanes. Okay, 21 seconds left on the Scuderi penalty. 6-on-4. Empty net down to our right. And the Penguins get it down that way. They can certainly clear it for the empty net. No icing would be called on it because they're shorthanded. Here's Ekblad with a shot. He missed the net. Pass to Bukestad from Trocheck. Bukestad turns his back on the defender, but it's going to be picked up now by Gotch for the empty net. Just wide.
And no ice, as you said.
Right. And Huberdeau back to the puck. The way we've seen players come back and haunt their old teams, I thought maybe that puck was going in for Gotch.
6-on-5 now. Look out. Here comes Hornquist. Oh, boy. Ekblad just got to the puck with that long reach. We got a penalty here, and this one is a slash by one of the Penguins who's now going to the bench. I think it's one of them. Might be Gotch. Yeah, Gotch with a whack. Broke the stick of Boland. And we're going to see another 6-on-4.
Pittsburgh, number 57, 2 minutes slashing.
And Gotch is one of their big face-off guys and penalty killers. And as he fell down, boy, that stick broke rather easily, did it not? I guess it's just an automatic call. You see the stick break, and Gotch is looking up, and he can't believe it either.
Another key penalty killer in the box. Scuderi's out here to kill, but Gotch is in the box.
It's a face-off, but luckily it's on the right side where Sutter can take it. He takes most of them on the left.
Still an empty net. Sidney Crosby's on the ice here.
Because he's another face-off guy, and I really believe you do have to have 2 face-off men out there just in case you get flipped to the other side.
He might be able to split the uprights too if he can clear the puck here. One for 5 of the Panthers now. They had only 1 shot on that last power play when they did bring the extra man out in favor of the goaltender. Now here's Boys with it. He centers. It goes all the way through, and they'll set it up. Ekblad, Barkov with it now. Works it down low, right to the goal goes Barkov, and he's just barging right in there on Fleury and got pushed from behind, but Fleury held his ground to make the save.
The Penguins got a face-off win. They attempted a clear, but it appeared maybe Letang clear, I believe, had the puck. I was wondering where that puck went. I think it hit the linesman who dropped the puck, yes, and stayed in the zone. And that's where Boys put it across the crease, but no harm, no foul right there.
There's on the draw, Bukestad in there against Sid. He won the draw, though. It's Campbell with it, closing in, shooting, and it's off a leg. Taken by Jokinen. Jokinen up top for Ekblad. You see Jokinen, the former Penguin, shoots it off the skate of Scuderi to Campbell. A shot that ricocheted in front. Crosby gets it, splits the uprights. No, just wide.
Hit the outside of the goalpost.
That's two shots wide from long range. One by Gotch and one by Crosby. And he was looking for that goal from way back in his own zone. Thought he was going to do it. Here's Fleischman with it now. 1:11 to go on the Gotch penalty. Panthers trying to take advantage of the empty net, the extra attacker on, plus the power play. Here's Campbell with it. 1 minute to go on the penalty. Still some time. 2:05 to go. The shot wide. If they can get one, they can make it interesting before the game is over. They're going to get the next one to make it 3-2, and the Penguins are doing everything they can to prevent that from happening. Here's Campbell shooting off a leg. Spaulding to the near side. And Scuderi went down. There will be a penalty here.
Yeah.
It's against Fleischmann.
Well, you know, the ice is not perfectly, it's like a football field, and if you put it right down the middle of the ice, it's going to go left or right, so you can have some sort of drainage. It's just, and the spin of the puck also. So the puck can start out down the middle, but it can glide to one side and hits the outside of that goalpost for Crosby. That empty net opportunity, and then Rob Scuderi trying to make a play is tripped up and, well, plays some 4-on-4. Well, not really 4-on-4 for a second, and then Luongo's going to come out to make it a 5-on-4 before the Penguins get their power play.
Dupre with a shot. Rust to the puck. Campbell over together. Malkin, Rust, Dumoulin, and Dupre for Pittsburgh. Dupre banks it off the near wall. Ahead now for Rust. The Panthers go D to D. Campbell. Ekblad, boy, he's a good player. He's been out here a lot tonight. Logging a ton of ice time as an 18-year-old. Ekblad dumps it back into the corner.
Goalie's
Dupre
out.
there.
Goalie's out.
Luongo back on the bench. Extra attacker on again. Dupre with it. Around for Dumoulin. 4-on-4 hockey. Now it's a power play for the Penguins. And an icing call against Pittsburgh.
Florida's used their timeout already, and Mike Johnson and Rick Tocchet, they not use their timeout now. They don't need it. Those guys are rested. Gotch is out there. They got their centerman. Russ can take face-offs as well if they need him, as well as Evgeny Malkin.
The Branson goes back to the bench. It's 5-on-5 hockey right now in front of Fleury with an empty net down to our right. 1:04 to go. Fleischmann in the box.
Big face-off here.
Bjorkstad.
Pushing the Penguins out of the circle.
And off the draw, Gotch won it. And then Dupre hustled to the puck. Now he wants to try to get it out. A couple of Panthers right there on him. Sending it around the boards. It was loose. And it's cleared by Rust to center. Malkin trying to get to it. Malkin with an empty net. Can't get the puck that way. Jokinen prevented him from doing so. Now Malkin back checking on Bjorkstad, who carries the puck to center. Stepping up, though, to break it up. In the neutral zone was Crosby. 41 seconds to go in the game. Penguins up by 2. Fleury wants to shoot it for the goal. He fires it that way. How about the way he pounced on that puck to do it? That was dramatic. Oh, if only he could have done it.
I know. He's just got to get a few more wrist curls, Staggy. He's trying.
I just got to love the way he stepped up to that puck. Crosby just got decked in center. He went down pretty hard. 21 seconds to go in the game. Here's Kunitz with the empty net, and that one doesn't get there.
His stick broke when he went to shoot the puck.
He drops it now and goes to the bench. And Bergenheim dumps the puck in, an offside called on the Florida Panthers.
Oh, man. Marc-Andre Fleury, he'll try until he succeeds.
Watch him pounce.
There he is, glove, down, shot. Yeah, Bergenheim was going to get back there anyways. They were flagging it down. And then Kunitz had a chance. Crosby was a little offside anyhow. It probably wouldn't have counted. However, the stick broke in two when he went to shoot it at the empty cage. I know he wasn't chuckling too much at that.
46 shots, 1 goal for the Florida Panthers here tonight. And the Penguins with 3 on 34 shots. 2 seconds to go in the game. 1 second. Another sensational performance by Marc-Andre Fleury behind a lineup that featured some young guys, one of whom is standing right there, number 51, our McDonald's player of the game with his first career goal in his NHL debut, Derek Pouliot.
Yes, a great shot up over the glove hand of Luongo. It was a game-winning goal for Derek Pouliot, the Penguins' second goal of the game, and Marc-Andre Fleury. Seriously, never ever seen him play better in his career. At 30 years of age, the flower is just blossoming again.
He absolutely is. Let's go to Robin J.
All right, guys, thanks very much. And so the Penguins finding different ways to win. Thursday night, they blister Colorado with a bunch of shots, win it in overtime. Tonight, they give up a lot of shots. Marc-Andre Fleury, very good. Derek Pouliot in his NHL debut gets the goal. The Penguins win it 3-1, third straight win.
Yeah, you know, it's with everything that's going on and all the players going down and guys coming up and filling in, you know, admirably, doing a great job. and you mentioned Pouliot getting that first goal, the game-winning goal. That's a great thing. Marc-Andre Fleury. Look, Florida was shooting. They had some great opportunities with breakdowns, but they also were shooting the puck from any and every way they could. The shot numbers keep going up. Florida played a hard-fought game. The goaltending was good on both sides, but Fleury better, and Pouliot's game winner.
Penguins 10-0-1 against Atlantic Division opponents in their last 11 games as they win by the final score of 3-1 tonight. Stick around. Jay and I will have highlights of this game, Jay's analysis, post-game reaction, Jay's thoughts on Monday's game against Florida, plus highlights from around the league when we return after this.